Iron Spells and Spellbooks is an iconic Minecraft magic mod that allows you to collect and craft magical spells and gear, and learn up to 9 different schools of magic, ranging from holy healing magic to blood-fueled necromancy. This mod is massive and includes a ton of structures, spells, and a couple crazy boss fights. So sit back and enjoy this showcase because I go over everything in the mod, so if you find it helpful in any way, shape, or form, please consider leaving a like and a comment. And if you're really crazy, even subscribe. Alright, so there is a lot of different magical spells and things in this mod, so I'm going to try to organize the showcase as best as possible, starting with the basics. So some things you're going to need to be very familiar with in this mod is some of the new ingredients, like Arcane Essence here. This can be found from mob drops, and in pretty much every single structural loot chest you'll come across, you'll probably find some Arcane Essence. This is just a primary crafting ingredient for magical things. Similarly to how you find Arcane Essence, there is also ink. There are several different types of ink we'll go through, but common ink is what you're going to start with. Pretty important, and how you're going to make scrolls. Now, scrolls also can be found. There are several different tiers of scrolls. There's several different types of scrolls. We'll get into all the different types of classes of spells later, but just so you know, you can find these scrolls, and, well, if you find a scroll, it works right away. This scroll is a tier 1 chain creeper scroll. Oh, he canceled my scroll. But basically, you can cast spells using a scroll without using any mana or having any magical gear. Now, that wasn't even enough to kill him because it was a tier 1 scroll, but still, you can just use scrolls as you find them, one and done. You're going to find different tiers, like level 1 to level 6. I think there's 10 different levels of scrolls. You're going to find them all different kinds. This is a level 5 blood scroll. This is a level 1 fire scroll, and this is a level 6 holy scroll. You're gonna find all different types of scrolls, and using them one at a time is, well, not very efficient. So if you actually want to learn a spell from one of these scrolls permanently, you need to get yourself some kind of spell book. The cheapest one you can make is the flimsy journal, just made with paper, string, and 2 copper ingots, and this will store spells in it. If I just click it, it will attach using the Curios mod here, so I have the spell book in my spell book slot. You can also see it on my hip here, which is kind of a cool detail. But once you have a spell book, you can start binding spells to it. But in order to bind spells, you need an inscription table. They're actually quite cheap to make. All you need is a book, 3 wooden slabs, and 2 fences, and you can get the inscription table. Now, these are actually pretty common. Like, this is a wizard's tower that spawns within villages, and often at the very top of this one, or many of the other magical structures. There's about 7 new structures in the overworld alone. These inscription tables you can find up here, but they're also pretty cheap to craft on your own. So if you go into the inscription table, it will automatically put your equipped spell book up here, and you can take any spell you find. So let's take these 3 random spells, and you can take them to the inscription table, and you just shift click them in here, and you click the little pen and quill, and boom, it saves it onto your book. So we can actually put all 3 of these spells, even though they're all different types of spells and different levels. You can equip them all the same, and boom, you can see in the bottom left I have 3 spells equipped, and you can use a spell by using V by default. So that was the Blaze Storm. So in the controls here, your spell wheel, I think, might defaultly be R. I have mine changed to shift. Yeah, by default, it's R. I like to use left shift because I don't use that for sneak. You can also set quick cast slots, so you can mess with all the controls, but like I have C set to cast my 3rd spell. If you really are good with hotkeys, you can equip them all different slots. You can use shift, and you can just drag and left click on whatever spell you want to select. It will tell you how much mana it uses, how long of a cooldown there is. Like Blaze Storm only uses 5 mana. I imagine that's per second. Yeah. Which you can cancel at any time. But yeah, there you go. That's how you can start casting spells. But this isn't very sustainable. This is just a way to get started, and there's many more things you can do, like upgrading your spellbook to, let's say, the Ironbound Tome. The only difference with this one is it holds 6 spell slots instead of 5, like the one we have equipped. But there's several more spell books. A lot of them are attuned to the different classes of spells. So there's like 9 different classes, or you could say 9 different schools of spells that we're going to learn. And once we're done with the basics, we'll go over all of those individually. The next bit of equipment you're going to need to make to start improving your magic are these 2 things. The Scroll Forge, which is just crying obsidian and polished deep slate, and the Arcane Anvil, which is blocks of amethyst, a diamond, 2 polished deep slate, and an anvil. Now, the Scroll Forge here allows you to make your own scrolls, which is pretty important. Now, scrolls are made with one of 9 different materials, one representing each one of the classes. And then there's different types of ink which chooses which tier. So let's just say I wanted to we'll do an emerald, and we'll just start with basic common ink, tier 1. Also, of course, you're going to need a piece of paper. So paper, ink, and then your object of choice. So emeralds do evoker type spells. So just like the vanilla evokers, kind of makes sense. The emerald is a special one. So with common ink, I can only make a handful of spells here that are level 1, but one of those is summon horse. So with 1 emerald, 1 common ink, and 1 paper, I got a horse summoning scroll. So then I can go over to the table, put my horse scroll in here, and bind it. So now I can go to my horse summon scroll, press V, and boom. That easy and that cheap, I can cast and summon my own horse. Suddenly I'd never need to get a saddle or breed a horse ever again. This does make me wonder, can I put armor on my summoned horse? No, I can't. But it is that simple to get started crafting your own spells. So basically, ink is your tier. You have 1 through 5 tier. And then your material is just the genre of enchantment. I mean, the genre of spell. So if we use blaze rods, we can get a bunch more. And since we're using uncommon ink, we get a few more unlocked, as well as the earlier ones become higher tier when you want to make them. So let's do Firebolt. This will be an uncommon level 4 spell now that it's uncommon ink. And like I said, you can just use scrolls as a one-off. I don't know why you'd waste all that just for a one-off scroll, but here we made the Firebolt scroll. Oh, I can't even hit my own summon. But you can actually see in the top of my screen, it tells me when my summon will go away. So my horse exists for another 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Not too bad. Now the Arcane Anvil here also has some interesting uses to it. This basically allows you to bind spells. Now there's only certain types of things that can have spells bound to them. For example, you can actually bind spells to swords. So, should I say the correct term is imbued. So I can imbue, let's say, this Firebolt scroll to this netherite sword. That means, as you can see, I only have 4 spells in the bottom left, but if I draw my sword, a 5th spell becomes available. Because even if I didn't have my spell book, this sword has a Firebolt imbued into it, as well as works as a regular sword. And using a spell with your sword doesn't run down its durability. So something like this could be useful, like a Firebolt in your sword, just so when you're fighting, you can get a hit off and get a little combo meal going. Also, stuff like wizard robes can be imbued with spells as well, which I will show you how to make wizard robes in just a second here. But there are many different items that can be imbued. So one important thing you can craft using the arcane essence we saw earlier is arcane cloth. By mixing arcane essence with wool in the middle, you can make arcane cloth. It takes 8 to make 1, but this stuff will become very handy in making stuff like the wizard robes. I have the whole set here. It's made the same way you would make all different types of armor. You just need to make the pattern. Now, I should mention there's actually an easier mage robe you can get early on called the Wandering Magician set, which is just mixing leather armor with 1 arcane essence. The Wandering Magician set is good early game. It does give you 100 more mana, as you can see on my hotbar. But honestly, it's not that long of a jump to get up to the full-blown wizard gear, and I'd recommend if you can get up to this type of armor, it would be worth it, because this jumps you up to 600 total mana, so a 500 increase. So to further increase your magical skills, you can craft yourself the Greybeard Staff using 1 arcane essence, 1 wooden shovel, and 1 iron ingot. This increases your mana regeneration and your spell power while holding it. So when you have a staff equipped, all you have to do is make sure you have some spells equipped, and once you do, you can just right-click to cast your spell. So now that I'm using the staff, it gives me increased spell power and increased regeneration while holding it. Now, if I want to be cheeky, I could just hold a sword that has an imbued spell onto it and then hold the staff in my offhand. And suddenly I become a combat beast. I also have my horse, my magical horse. So another use for the arcane table is upgrading your scrolls. So let's just say you have this level 2 scroll. It's a common. I believe there's 3 levels of common. So just giving it a common ink, boom. Now it's level 3 and it does 8 healing instead of 7. And then just like that, I could also put it over here and put an uncommon ink and make it level 4, which then it goes from 8 to 9 healing. And you guys can see where I'm going with this. And it's level 5. And then you can go up to rare ink. I forget, do you need 2 rare? Yeah, 2 rare ink. And then we can just go up level 8 epic, level 9 epic. And then lastly, legendary ink gets you all the way to level 10, which is 15 healing on this spell. There you go, villager. you get healed. Let's say you have a spell inside of your journal or whatever spell book you have, and you want to upgrade the spell, you can actually go into the inscription table and select the spell you want, and you can remove it as a scroll, and then you can put your scroll, and then you can bring it to the arcane table, upgrade it, and put it right back into your journal when you're done. So collect every ink you can find, because there's more uses than that. A few more basics we need to go over, which are some important crafting materials. First, we have this brand new ore called Mithril Ore. Now, this is a little bit later game because you can only mine it with netherite pickaxes. Once you get mithril ore, you get scraps. Well, actually, no, you get raw mithril when you mine mithril ore. And when you mine 4 of them and put them into a blast furnace, they take a little bit, but eventually they'll smelt into mithril scraps. Mithril scraps are an important crafting ingredient, but you can also use 4 of them to get an ingot. So it requires you to find 4 ore to get 1 ingot. And I should mention that the ore can only be found below -38. So it is kind of hard to find, but don't worry, there's spells in this mod that can make mining a lot easier. Another thing you can craft with the mithril ingots is the mithril weave, which is just another crafting ingredient we're going to run into later. Now, another important ingredient is hoglin skin. Here we go. Hog skin. So hog skin you get from killing hoglins, as you could see. I did have a looting 3 sword, so it dropped 3, but I think it drops usually between 1 to 3. It's important for crafting a lot of different spell books. Next, you're going to want to kill strays, because frozen bones are the primary ingredient to making frost spells. Strays are the way to get those. Now, just going back to arcane essence, I do have the arcane cloth recipe here, but another important thing you can make with arcane essence is the arcane ingot, which is just surrounding an iron ingot with a arcane essence. Also, a silly and fun crafting recipe you can do is the firefly jar with 3 pieces of glass, a lantern, and arcane essence. This is just kind of like a magical torch that has fireflies in it. Just a cool, magical, whimsical decoration for, where you're going to be brewing potions and all that. Now, there is another important ingredient we get from the nether, where you can find structures with these things laying around called armor piles. And when you mine those armor piles, you get this guy, the Ancient Knight. I don't know why he's not targeting me, but I killed him swiftly. Those guys are really, really strong. I don't know why he didn't attack me, but just know that they are strong. And when you kill them, they drop Cinder Essence. You're going to find this in a few other methods and ways, but this is another important crafting ingredient you're going to run into a lot. These are the Ancient Knights. You can also find them in other structures. Let me see if I can get them to drop. They have another drop you can get. But I should point out, I'm using a sharpness 5 netherite sword. These guys have 60 health. So there is a chance these guys drop netherite scrap. I think I just got really lucky before because they are not dropping them now. Yes, Ancient Knights give you Cinder Essence. You can also find this stuff in a bunch of nether structure chests. So next we are going to go over the Alchemist Cauldron. This is a very important block which you can craft using a regular Minecraft cauldron, 4 iron ingots, 2 arcane essence, and 1 cinder essence. That will get you the Alchemist Cauldron. Now, this is a versatile block and it adds multiple uses and it is a core part of this mod. So let's just say I take this Alchemist Cauldron and I place it down. As you can see in this Alchemist Cauldron, it says at the top, it is full of common ink. So that ink that you can find, you can fill a cauldron with 4 common inks, and if you take a copper ingot and throw it in that common ink, and you don't accidentally break it, good thing I have 2. If you throw a copper ingot in the cauldron of ink, it'll eventually make uncommon ink, in which you can just take a bottle and boom. So it's kind of just a way to upgrade your lesser inks, because eventually you're going to become very strong and common ink isn't going to be very useful. It just takes 4 things of common ink and a copper ingot, and you can get uncommon ink. And this pattern continues. So if you fill an entire cauldron with 4 uncommon inks, you can take an iron ingot, plop it in there, which one complaint I have about this mod is I wish I could throw the ingot in. But anyways, you can see you get 1 rare ink that you can put into a glass bottle from 4 uncommon inks. And with rare ink, you throw a gold ingot in once you fill a cauldron with 4 rare inks, and that'll get you epic ink. And lastly, with a full vat of epic ink, you can put an amethyst crystal in there and it will turn into legendary ink. And there's no upgrade from legendary ink, but it's kind of like a CSGO trade up method. You can just trade up your inks. I was doing the math. I think you need like 256 common inks to get 1 legendary ink. So You know, it takes a lot, but it's a good way to recycle and move up, especially if you really need a legendary ink. All you gotta do is scrap together 4 epics to make it happen. Now, there is another use of a cauldron. As you can see, this one is full of blood. So if you put a Alchemist Cauldron and put a lit campfire beneath it, and you or a mob drops inside, it takes 4 hits of damage, and that will fill up the cauldron with blood. So one of the schools of magic is blood spells. And this is how you get the main ingredient for that, which is blood. You get 4 vials of blood. We'll go more in depth with the blood stuff later in the video. Now, I should mention, if you have an Alchemist Cauldron full of water and you place a common spell in there, there's a 50% chance it will turn that water into ink. So I'm going to put 4 uncommon spells in here, and there's a chance we could get an entire thing of uncommon ink. No. Okay. So we have 50% uncommon ink just by recycling spells. So, or should I say more specifically, recycling scrolls. So if you find any scrolls you don't like, you can drop them into a cauldron, and you have a 50% chance of converting them into the equivalent ink that the scroll is. So in this case, this was a uncommon scroll, so it made uncommon ink. So just a cool way to recycle useless scrolls that you don't want. Now there's also a bunch of new alchemy added with the cauldrons, and there's a couple new elixirs that you can make. So if you fill up a cauldron with potions of invisibility, which it takes 4 potions of invisibility to fill it up, and you make one of these things called a shriving stone, which is just an amethyst shard and raw iron, which you're going to need this for other purposes, so remember this crafting recipe. But if you take this and you drop it inside the cauldron, we get invisibility elixir, which you can scoop up with a bottle. As you can see here, we have the invisibility elixir, which gives us true invisibility for 15 seconds. Basically, true invisibility, you can hold items and wear armor, and you are totally invisible. But the tier 1 only lasts for 15 seconds, which is not really that long. But if you take that invisibility elixir and you mix in an amethyst cluster, the amethyst cluster will turn that into greater invisibility elixir. So this is the same thing, except it gives you true invisibility for 40 seconds. So still not that long, but true invisibility is kind of overpowered, especially on a multiplayer server. That's just a new addition, and there's a few other modified and new spells the cauldrons add as well. You can use the Alchemist Cauldron to make every single vanilla potion. As you can see, this cauldron has water in it. If I take another wort and I place it on top, now we have a full cauldron of awkward potion, which this gives you 4 awkward potions. So technically this is more efficient than a brewing stand. So if I take Glistering Melon and I place it inside the awkward potion cauldron, now we have Potion of Healing. And if we put Glowstone in the Potion of Healing, we get Potion of Healing 2. Now, this is where things get different. So right now I could clear my inventory and take 1, 2, 3, 4 bottles of Potion of Healing and have them in my inventory. Not only is this more efficient than a brewing stand, but it's even quicker. So in a brewing stand, that would have only yielded 3 total potions, while the cauldron yields 4. But if you take that Potion of Healing 2 and you put oak log in it, it floats around, and eventually you get oak skin elixir. So actually so as you can see at the top of the screen here, 1 oak log used half of the Potion of Healing to make 1 oak skin elixir. So 2 logs will get you half a cauldron of oak skin elixir. Now, you could scoop this up in a bottle right now, and it gives you plus 20% damage reduction with 20% minus speed. This makes you 20% more resistant, but does make you 20% slower. So if you're trying to play a tank role or you're just going to be casting spells, it's pretty useful. But if that's not enough for you, you can put an amethyst shard inside that oak skin elixir, and you're going to get greater oak skin elixir. Now this gives you plus 40% damage reduction. So that's just all incoming damage is reduced by 40%, and you still are only 20% slower. This would just be good if you're in combat, especially if you also have a huge set of armor. It will just make you super strong. And I really like how this mod does alchemy. This feels like how Minecraft alchemy should be, you know? Hot take, remove the brewing stand and replace it with cauldrons, because this just makes more sense, and I like how they added potions on top of the existing ones. So with that being said, if you have a cauldron full of awkward potion and you put arcane essence in the cauldron, you get Potion of Mana. This is a brand new potion that, well, restores 25 mana plus 5% of max mana. That just means, let's just say you have 100 mana, it will restore 25 plus 5. But if you had 200 mana, it'd be 25 plus 10, just so it scales a little bit with your total mana. If you were to put glowstone dust inside of that potion of mana, you'll get Potion of Mana 2, which restores 50 plus 10%. So right now this would heal 60 mana because I only have 100. But if you put an Amethyst Shard in the Potion of Mana 2, you're going to get yourself Potion of Mana 3, which that restores 75 mana plus 15% of max mana. Now remember, you get 4 of these by doing this, so it's not a terrible deal. Seems like you're going to have to find yourself a lot of Amethyst though. But yeah, if you put an Amethyst cluster inside the Potion of Mana 3, you'll of course get Potion of Mana 4. Now, Potion of Mana 4 gives you 100 mana plus 20% of max mana. This would be very useful when you have several hundred mana, which you will be able to acquire. And of course, these exist in Splash and Lingering variants as well. I wonder if it'd be worth just having a lingering mana potion, just throw it on your feet and just keep healing mana the whole time. But if we take Potion of Mana 3 specifically and put it in a cauldron and then drop an Ender Pearl in there, you're going to get Evasion Elixir. Now, if you take that Evasion Elixir and put Dragon's Breath in it, you get Greater Evasion Elixir. Now, what do these do? Well, let's start with the regular Evasion Elixir. This gives you Evasion 2, which allows 2 hits to be evaded. So I'm going to drink the elixir, and I get this purple glow. And if I summon a zombie, he just hit me, I immediately teleported like an Enderman trying to get shot. So let's see, if he tries to hit me again, there we go. And now I can take damage. So it's kind of a 2-hit invulnerability potion. And now if we run over here and grab the Greater Evasion Elixir, this allows 4 hits. So 1, can't get me. 2, can't get me. 3, 4. So pretty useful. I can imagine if you have some really good spells where you need to avoid being hit. But just a cool little extra potion you can make off of the mana potions. All right, now time to get on to the structures. So this first one is an Evoker Tower. Now this is actually very essential to getting a rare item. So we're gonna enter the Evoker Tower, but I wanted to show a couple more important crafting recipes. One being the Ring of Mana. If you just use 4 arcane ingots and a diamond, this is a ring that will literally just give you 100 more mana. There's another crafting recipe called Weapon Parts, where if you use 3 mithril ingots and 2 arcane ingots, you can get the weapon parts. This helps you craft several different swords and weapons. So the one we're going to be using here is the Amethyst Rapier. And this comes with an imbued spell of Echoing Strikes, which will show off as well, as you can see. I also just equipped a couple spells. We're gonna be going over every single spell later in the video. But, oh god, we have a Ravager on us. I have a spell that shoots explosive firecrackers at people. I have so much mana, this is just kind of... Oh, I killed him already, okay. So there's multiple different variations of these structures. This was one I wanted to find specifically that has a Wandering Trader captured, because you're going to use that to get a rare item in the game. So let's head up inside of the Evoker Tower here. Oh god. Ooh, yeah, so be careful. There's some Vindicators in here. But these chests hold good stuff. Like, here's some Evoker spells, which is a whole class of magic. Emeralds, diamonds, arcane essence, common ink, everything you'd expect. Uncommon ink even as well. But when you get into this room, on the lectern here, there is a book written entirely in the villager language, I'm assuming. But you want to take that book. Also, we're going to go up to the top and we're going to fight. There's like a little bit of a parkour reinstalled here. Ooh, is there anything in these barrels? Ooh, there are. A Divine Pearl. Oh, Epic Ink even. Hey, don't forget to check these crates because, wow, there's a lot in there. Okay, so now here is the Arch Evoker. Oh my god, he's coming down after me. Oh, he's casting spells on me. I don't even know. Oh, he's down there. I have a healing spell I have equipped. And got him. So that was the Arch Evoker. I didn't have much time to show him off there. So he drops the Evocation rune, which is the rune for Evoker Magic, which is very important. I think he drops some emeralds and some arcane magic. And these Evoker Towers are not super uncommon. So, like, if you had a good way of traveling, you could get around and find a bunch of these and kind of just farm them for resources. Anyways, there's also some barrels up here where you can get some good loot. If you want to head all the way down... Oh, what the heck are you doing here, dude? And then, boom, hit him with the firework. Okay, now that I think we've dealt with the bad guys, We're going to block up here. And we have a Wandering Trader. And if you go up to the Wandering Trader with the book you found, which is this one, the Evoker's Logbook, you can click on him, and this Wandering Trader will actually translate the logbook, but it will cost you 64 emeralds. If you have 64 emeralds, you give him the logbook and the stack of emeralds, and you get the Evoker's Logbook translated. Now, this has some lore in it, but there is an important use to this logbook. You have to find a village with a wizard tower. This village does not have a wizard tower, so I have to find it. So if you find a village with a wizard tower, like we had earlier, these will spawn priests. Now, priests, you can go up to them, and you can see they actually have a trade for the Evoker's Logbook. So if you give them that, luckily no additional emeralds this time, you get the Villager Bible. The Villager Bible is specifically beneficial to holy spells, but even if you're not using holy spells, it gives you plus 200 max mana, plus 10% cast time reduction, and of course, plus 10% holy spell power. We'll cover this more once we get into the holy spell class later, but let's continue with the structures. I also do want to mention not every single village has a wizard tower, and not every single evoker tower has a captured wandering trader. I actually had to check like 4 of them before I found one. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but definitely worth it. Another important structure is called the Impaled Icebreaker. This is a ship that is found in icy biomes, icy ocean biomes, and it has some very good loot, and actually sometimes there's items you can't find anywhere else, so let's hope we can find it. There's a bunch of chests and barrels in here. Some of them have boring normal pirate ship stuff. Into the cabins here, or whatever this area will be. Oh, there we go. This is what we're looking for. A permafrost shard. This is the only place you can find a permafrost shard is in these Impaled Icebreakers. There's also a bundle with 47 emeralds in it, as well as epic ink. And a lot of paper for making spells. So I'd make it a priority to find this pretty early in your playthrough of this mod because it has some good loot. Ow. For the permafrost shard we found here, you can craft it with a mithril scrap, and you'll get yourself something called the Frost Ward Ring, which you can equip right here in your ring slot. And this grants you freezing immunity, which might seem insignificant, but in this next structure, you're absolutely going to want to craft yourself a freezing immunity ring. The next structure you can actually find by crafting yourself a map. By using 4 cobwebs, an arcane cloth, and 2 frozen bones, you can get yourself the furled map. For specifically this structure, the infested ruin. Now, granted, I teleported myself here, so it's actually right in front of me. But you can use this map just like any treasure map to find this structure. Now, let's go up top. So up top, there's not a whole lot. I go into survival mode. There's a couple of these decorated pots. This one had arcane essence in it. If you manage to go to the top of the tower here, you can find frost-related things, more arcane essence, cobwebs, snowballs, ice. But the real magic is when you go down the tower instead of up. So you're definitely going to want to come into the structure prepared. There's a lot of cobwebs on the way down. Honestly, a water bucket would clear this out very quickly, but I'm using a sword for some reason. Now, there's a few more destroyable pots here with stuff like frozen bones and arcane essence, so always make sure to break those. And then, wow, there is a far fall down. Ooh, I'm a pro. Okay, and then you get down here, which is the frost spider den or the ice spider den. I equipped some pretty OP spells. Some valuable resources here. I didn't realize that this was just in a cave and you could have just walked in through the cave, but it's not always the case. But if you go over here, you can see this is the ice spider's den. And if you, let's just say, break the shell of one of these ice spider eggs, it will spawn an ice spider. And yes, it is nightmare fuel, but I am going to try to deal with it. This guy will wrap you up and freeze you. Oh god, that spell did nothing to him. Oh, and yep, he uses magic. So magic resistance would be important to have. I'm using spells on this guy. Oh, come on. Classic lava bucket. Never hurt anyone. And dead. Boom. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get what we needed. There's an important drop from these guys. And pretty much anytime you break one of the shells of these eggs, you will spawn another ice spider. So it's just kind of a game of, you probably want to do them one at a time. Maybe if you're really OP, you could just mine them all and fight 30 spiders. Now there's a regular spider trying to enter the convo here. Oh! Oh my god, he grabbed me. And he froze me. This is why you want the freeze immunity ring when you do this one. Hit him with the fire arrow. Now let's hit him with the... Oh god. So yeah, he'll grab you and freeze you. Oh, I need a healing spell. Healing spell. Got him. Oh, there we go. He dropped what we needed. So this is what we were looking for. The Icy Fang. The Icy Fang can help produce a very valuable resource. So if you have a cauldron here, an Alchemist Cauldron, and it's full of water, you just want to click on that with your newly found Icy Fang, and this will turn into ice venom. Granted, 1/4 of it will turn into ice venom, so you could get 1 bottle, which this would allow you to get 1 bottle of ice venom. You'd get a ice venom vial, I should say. One of the things you can create using ice venom vials is the Boreal Blade. This has 16 attack damage and 0.9 attack speed, and it's imbued with Frostbite 3. Is a cool frost spell. Let's grab it, Frostbite. And we'll get into the ice spells a little bit more, but there are a couple spells where you can give the freezing effect to a foe. So if there's an enemy that has frost damage and you activate the Frostbite spell on your sword here, it will freeze them, which after 5 seconds, they will explode into icicles, which do damage to everyone around them. Which is a cool, fun little enchantment. But the Ice Venom has more uses, which we'll cover when we get into the Frost Magic. Next structure we have here is the Mangrove Hut. Goes without saying, this spawns in mangrove biomes. But there is an interesting fella who spawns in here. I believe there is no hostile mobs, so it should be chill. I don't know how to get in here. It kind of spawned in the middle of the water. I'm just going to break in the side. Hello, you don't hate me, right? All right, yeah, this is the Apothecarius. I do not know how to say that word, but this guy you can trade with. And he has some pretty decent deals. Like, you can sell him your inks, but also, like, you could give him rare ink for 7 arcane essence. You could sell him that evasion elixir for 11. Some decent deals. There's also the Nether Ward tincture. This is the only thing he sells that I believe you can't make any other way. This is a tincture that you can give hoglins or piglins. If they take this Nether Ward tincture, they won't become zombified. I guess that's probably the explanation on why this guy isn't a zombie hoglin and he's just a regular hoglin. But yeah, so if you ever, I don't know, bring hoglins or whatever over to the overworld, this tincture will prevent them from zombifying. Well, hold on, there's some chests in here too. Oh, wow. There's the Greater Potion of Healing, which is instant health 3. Hold on, I'm going to try to kill this guy. Any other trades before I kill you? He's got a couple nature spells. You can also buy that oak skin elixir from him. I'm sorry, dude, we're going to take you out. I'm electrocuting him. Oh my god. He picked me up. I hit him with lightning. Oh my god. I'm dead. I'm eating a potion of healing. Ah! Oh my god. He was like chugging health potions. You know what? I'm gonna fight this guy old school. He's almost at full health again. Got him. All right, so he drops a nature rune. He also dropped an earthquake scroll and uncommon ink. Whoa. The earthquake scroll is pretty crazy. Anyways, there's also a chest upstairs. If you go up in the top here, there's a chest like common and uncommon ink. More scrolls as well. Honestly, you could just go and rob all of his stuff and sell it back to him and make a profit. And then at the top, we also have the inscription table. There's also a barrel hiding down here in this tower in the back room here. There's a barrel. This one had Potion of Instant Mana and Invisibility Elixir, as well as a bunch of inks. Just make sure you get all the chests and things. All right, next we have the Mountain Tower, which is also the Cryomancers Tower. So this can be found at the top of mountain biomes. We are very high up over here. This one literally generated like hanging over a cliff. This is where you're going to find the Cryomancer, who is the expert in ice magic. I have to turn off clouds. They're cutting right through the building. So at least in here you can find some amethyst clusters and shards of amethyst, which obviously there's a lot of crafting that uses it. Over here you can find his inscription table. I don't know, maybe he didn't spawn. There's supposed to be a cryomancer in here. What the heck? Okay, he's not up here either, but he does have a bed. Whoa, I just found a sharpness 3 infinity book up here with a bunch of ink as well. So he does have stuff you can steal. All right, turns out there's a hidden door under the stairs here where the cryomancer is. Are you hostile? It looks like he might be. Yep, he's hostile. I'm blasting him with lightning. Oh, I don't have enough mana. He's freezing me. Oh my god, he's chugging health potions. He's dead. And he summoned a polar bear, but he summoned him in the wall. Huh. Alright, so the Cryomancer dropped an ice rune, a scroll of cold, as well as some inks. I thought maybe you could trade with this guy too, but turns out you can't. He'll just attack you. But that's why I brought my Frost Ward Ring to here as well, so he wouldn't be able to kill me. Oh, well, look at there's anvils down here, bookshelves. Whoa, this guy had 3 bottles of lightning, which are a pretty hard to get ingredient, and you'll see why later. So that's actually really cool, as well as divine pearls, shriving stone. Okay, so a lot of like the harder to get crafting ingredients you can find in this guy's base, and he has even more barrels with a crazy enchanted book, more ink, more arcane essence, another enchanted book, a chest full of amethyst shards and frozen bones in high-level scrolls. Wow, you got to find yourself one of these towers. I got everything in here, and there's also just an anvil and a block of amethyst if needed. Let me make sure there's nothing else hiding. Oh, look at that. I didn't even notice there was a hidden trap door right here. And in the basement, he has a pedestal with an uncraftable potion with no effect. Interesting. And then, ooh, there's a bunch of ice, another ice spike scroll, a ray of frost scroll, cauldron. What's in here? Oh, this is just like a dungeon. Huh. But that is the mountain tower. All right, next we have the Pyromancers Tower. This is like a burnt down tower, and yeah, this guy, as implied, works with fire. So here's a nice crafting ingredient. This is the Fire Ward Ring. It's just a mithril scrap and 4 cinder essence. This makes you immune to fire damage, which will probably be pretty convenient with this guy. But there's 2 sections of this tower. There's this area over here, which just seems to be an old destroyed building. But this is the main tower. There's a downstairs. Let's go upstairs first. Making our way upstairs. It's all destroyed. But there is a barrel. Ooh, with a level 8 fire scroll, a bunch of charcoal, even a gas tier, and gunpowder. That's all that's up here. Oh, interesting. There's one of these. There's an armor pile up here. So if I went to survival, yep. Ancient Knight. Ow. I can't believe that. Bro knocked me off the edge with 2 HP left. He clutched. Okay, well, that's what's at the very top. But while dying, I accidentally made a discovery while recovering my stuff. I found a hidden barrel. I didn't even know it was here. Look at this. It's totally hidden in the wall. And it has the heavy chain necklace, which gives you spell resistance. There's a diamond, 9 iron, 3 gold, 15 arcane essence, a blood vial, emerald, common ink, and a shockwave scroll, which is pretty crazy. That was just kind of hidden in the wall. So I guess some of the structures in this mod, you want to... Hello? That's the Pyromancer. Hi. Are you going to attack me? Oh, no, I can trade with him. Oh, this guy sells a map to the alchemical trade route. I don't know why I gave myself 1,000 emeralds, but I don't know what fire ale is. I haven't even seen that in the menu, but you can craft fire ale. You can buy a level 9 scroll from him. He buys blaze rods, he sells candles, but I want to get this, the map. If we open the map, well, we'll have to find out where it goes. I don't know why it's called the alchemical trade route, but it leads you to a mangrove swamp hut, in case you were curious. Well, let's go down into his quarters here while he's upstairs. This is the Pyromancer downstairs area. Ooh, he's got more scrolls, more arcane essence, even obsidian. He's got a blank book, a brewing stand. What else do we got here? It's pretty dark, but there's an amethyst cluster that can be taken. I didn't even see this. There's a little door right here that continues to go down. Bunch of barrels with tons of kind of just random village stuff. What we got here? Another room. Oh, we got 5 blaze rods in that chest. Another scroll, uncommon ink, more obsidian. What's in here? This is like a caved in part of the area. Another barrel with arcane essence. Huh. I'm going to look at this from spectator point of view if there's anything I missed. In this little back room here, there was more fire ale, which I don't know why that's never come up. I don't know what this is. I drank fire ale and it gave me haste 3, fire resistance, and nausea 6 for a second. Oh, wow. So if you can get some fire ale from this guy, you can mine things super quick. But here's a little back area. Whoa. Okay. We found a poison ward ring. Okay, wow, yeah, so we found a poison ward ring in here, which gives you poison immunity. Yeah, okay, I was going to show you guys this later, but you can craft this poison ward ring as well by using a mithril scrap and a nature rune, which we got earlier in the Mangrove Hut. But this, if you wear it, you're just immune to poison, which is convenient. All right, the next structure we're going to be tackling is the Catacombs. Now, to find the Catacombs, you're going to have to craft the Wayward Compass by using 4 arcane essence, 4 iron ingots, and a soul lantern. This will point you directly towards where the catacombs are. Now, this is an underground structure, so you're not going to see it up above, but I believe I teleported myself right by wherever they are. But before we do that, I'm going to show you guys some more crafting recipes to level up your magical abilities. So here's a few pieces of jewelry. You can only equip 1 necklace, but here are 3 necklaces you can make that have different properties. The Amulet of Concentration, made with mithril scrap and mithril ingot and some chains, makes long casts uninterruptible. When we go over the spells later, you'll notice like this magic arrow scroll. It just takes a few seconds to pull back and launch, but by default, if you were to get smacked, it cancels in the middle of it. So this is actually really nice, especially if you're doing a lot more of spells that take longer to cast. So I think that might be the one I wear, but there are some other ones, like this one gives you plus 15% mana regeneration. Amethyst Resonance Charm, which is 4 leather and 1 amethyst shard. This literally just makes your mana regenerate 15% quicker. And we found this one in a structure earlier, but this is the Heavy Chain with 1 mithril scrap and 4 iron chains. This just gives you spell resistance. The Catacombs here has a boss fight, and the boss does cast spells. So having spell resistance can be super, super helpful in those situations. Now, the wizard robes that I showed you guys how to make at the beginning can be upgraded with netherite. This is a good way to get really geared. It makes battle mage armor, which these are as strong as netherite armor, but also gives plus 125 mana each, plus 5% spell power each, which I guess the spell power already existed, but it's just going to help out a lot. And the mana is greatly increased. Now we put all these robes on. We have 600 mana, and also it matches the skin I wear. So these are my favorite. I mean, it matches my cape. I just look sick. But another very useful weapon you can make using those weapon parts in 2 diamonds and 2 mithril ingots is the Spellbreaker. Now, the Spellbreaker already by default gives you plus 15% cooldown reduction, but it gives you a spell imbued with the sword called Spellbreaker. And we'll have to show it off later when we fight the boss, but the Spellbreaker basically will cancel any incoming targeting spell. So as you saw earlier when we fought some people, it gave me a little warning like, the mage is targeting you with so-and-so spell, and if I cast this, I can actually cancel a magical being spell. So this is quite nice, has a quick recharge. Also, the sword just has 10 attack damage by default, which you can put standard enchantments on, so like Sharpness 5 on here is pretty crazy. But yeah, so it's a spell that is attached just to this sword. Now, there are 2 more spell books you could possibly make here as well. The Apprentice spellbook, this gives you 8 spell slots, opposed to the 6 from the last one we were using in the Spell Tomb. But all you need is 4 arcane essence, 2 hog skin, and 3 gold ingots, and you can get the Apprentice spellbook, which also gives you 50 more mana, plus 15% time reduction on casting spells. But the next step up from that is the Enchanted spellbook. Now, you have to have an enchanted book. It doesn't have to be Swift Sneak like I'm using here. You can use any enchanted book, but you take that, 2 arcane cloth, 2 diamond, and 4 hog skin, and you get the Enchanted spellbook, which gives you plus 100 mana, but it doesn't give you the cooldown enhancement like the Apprentice. So you kind of have to pick which stats mean more to you. I kind of just like having the most mana possible. So I'm going to take the Enchanted spellbook, and I'm going to load it up with a handful of spells here to help me out with this boss fight. We have our spellbook. Equip that. Now we have 700 mana. I'm doing more damage. You can see the Enchanted spellbook on my hip. I look cool. I got my sword. Let's go follow the compass. The trapped soul points towards its home. Okay, yeah, I knew we were right above it. So I'm going to go into spectator mode just so we can get a top-down view. It looks like a mine shaft generated right through all of it. The catacombs are a bit down, but you can see these got a lot of things going on here. So we're going to drop ourselves in maybe one of these side rooms. All right. Now we are in the dungeon. But in this dungeon, there are a lot of spawners, like the zombie spawner here, as well as there's a lot of hidden chests. I think a lot of these... Oh, yep. Inside of these grave-looking things are usually chests with some pretty good gear. This has a heal spell and a haste spell, as well as some emeralds and enchanted diamond armor. All I remember from researching this mod is there is a lot of hidden chests, so you gotta make sure you can find them all. But let's see if we can find the boss room. Oh gosh. So there are full-blown trial spawners in here. Oh my gosh. And that's an invisible zombie. We got bones, we got arcane essence, we got arrows of healing. All right, and then when we enter this room of the catacombs, they have spawners hidden inside of these like deep slate graves, but they also sometimes have as big as double chests. This one has, oh god, it's an invisible zombie. Oh, there's a zombie spawner right here. Goodbye. But look at all this arcane essence. An epic grade frostbite scroll. There is another zombie spawner. I wonder if you could just make the craziest mob farm of all time using all of these spawners. But this iron sword has an imbued spell. So this is a sharpness 3 iron sword with an imbued acupuncture spell on it. All right. We got these other trial spawners here. Bang. Bang. So look at this. Tons of gold. Tons of arcane essence. Pretty nice. And I believe in this giant grave here, yep, there's a double chest. This double chest has 2 diamond helmets in it, as well as a ton of arcane essence, multiple scrolls, gold, you know, lots of goodies. You also want to be destroying these decorated pots because I believe, oh, well, this one literally had a diamond in it, so you definitely want to break them, but I believe there is some rare loot you can only get in these catacombs pots. So, oh, like this. I believe you can only get this in the pot, which is the King's Lullaby, which is a record disc. So even more diamonds, even more arcane essence. You definitely want to clear these out because there is a ton of loot. Oh, channeling and efficiency 4, sharpness 3 books, just free bookshelves. Oh, zombie spawner. This room had a jukebox though. Oh. All right, I don't like playing the music discs from mods because I have been copyrighted for them before, but you get the point. These rooms are randomly generated. There's lots of trial chamber type spawners, and a lot of these are going to be different depending on, you know, the seed of the world you have. Let's see if there's anything else unique that spawns here. Just a lot of different like graveyards. There's a little library area. I don't think we've discovered the library. Oh, this has lightning bottles and shriveling stone. But the room that you really are looking for here is the Dead King's room. Also, it looks like there's a hidden chest in the wall here. But let's do this. It does say on the wiki it's recommended that you have enchanted diamond armor. I have plain netherite armor, so maybe this will be all right. So the Dead King is up on his throne, and you just don't want to activate him right away yet. I'm just rounding up these zombies so I can hit them with some big spells. Like that. It's time to wake up the Dead King. So he's just chilling here, but if you click on him, he starts to wake up, and now he's awake. And he has about 500 health, I should mention. I probably should have given myself some heals or something. All right, yeah. Okay, I used the Spellbreaker on him. Oh, he's got a big old thing. Oh. Okay, I've done some decent damage. Ah! Hit him with the big arrow. Oh, where'd he go? He teleported. So it might be worth having a poison ward because he uses a lot of poison spells. Oh, and... okay, I got him to... I killed him. Just kidding. He has a second form. Oh, collateral is bad guys. Oh god, he's shooting fire at me now. Oh, I'm on fire. You missed. You missed. So you just gotta keep moving. He does a lot of teleportation. He uses a lot of different spells. Oh god, he has got Vexes on me now. But he's almost dead. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Killed him. Oh god, now I gotta deal with these freaks. Okay, there we go. But the king drops some pretty good loot, including 2 legendary inks, an epic ink, a spectral hammer scroll. I'm gonna show off this spell later, but the spectral scroll is one of my favorite. The spectral hammer scroll is one of my favorites. Because, well, I just used it, as you can see there. But it just made a giant hammer that mined out a huge cube. I don't know if he always drops that, but that is a couple times now that I've gotten that from killing him. But a pretty difficult boss fight. Probably want a healing spell or whatnot, but he has a block of emerald over his throne. I'm curious if he has any other... Seems to be a lot of hidden stuff on this map, but it just looks like once you're done fighting him, there's a little area up here in the back of the room with a trap door that leads to a grave that has... Whoa! Yeah, this is a good chest. Golden apple, blank rune, enchanted golden apple, bottles of lightning, 3 diamonds, uncommon ink, couple higher end scrolls. Yeah, okay. Hell yeah. So you definitely want to make sure you get this when you're done. Oh, there's another chest upward. Oh, that just has an emerald in it. Well, that was the Catacombs. Next, we have another structure called the Ancient Battlegrounds. Now, this structure is covered in armor piles. It's basically supposed to be an old battleground. There's different banners. Like here, there's yellow banners, but then over here, there are black banners. So I think it's supposed to be like just a bunch of fallen soldiers on an old battleground. I was looking at some of the barrels. There isn't a lot in them. Usually just like supplies and like gold stuff, gunpowder. I mean... iron nuggets, like nothing crazy, but there is a trial spawner, so I'm gonna give that a spin. I'm gonna throw on some gold boots because we are surrounded by piglin here. Now this is a trial spawner that spawns. Oh, it spawns ancient knights. Good lord. Okay, ancient knights are pretty strong, but luckily they're also kind of slow. But they do have a dashing ability, which they're using here. Boom! I got some good spells on me, though. Does it do... How many Ancient Knights are we getting here? Oh, yep, there it is. Okay. Oh, he got a good hit on me. Ah! He's low, he's low. I'm gonna hit him with that arrow. Bang! So if you do find one of these Ancient Battlegrounds, though, can't let him rush towards me. You can't get me. Huh. Well, this is just... free kill. Give me that. Oh my god. Oh, see, okay, this one dropped netherite scrap. Probably not too bad to have this trial spawner. If I'm in a survival playthrough, I might even make a little trap here because this will refresh after it spawns all of the bad guys. You could just almost make a netherite scrap farm. Oh, hey, buddy. Don't hit me. Ow. Nope, nope, nope. Got him. Dude. Well, there's a 30-minute cooldown, and it spit out absolutely nothing. Yeah. There are also a bunch more of, like, these armor piles. You can just... I'm gonna hit him with the... I'm gonna trap you in place. Hit you with the sunbeam. Hit you with the fireflies. Oh, and he dropped netherite scrap. So, I mean, just by fighting these bad guys, I already could make a netherite ingot. And there are so many more of these bad guys laying around. Yup, you're stuck. We get out of range. Hit him with an arrow. So, the ratio so far is for 7 Cinder Essence. So, 7 knights killed, we got 3 netherite scrap. That's a pretty good ratio. Time for the final structure. Now, the reason I've been going over all the structures before all the spells is because there's a lot of magic-related items you're going to need, especially in this structure right here. And this one is called the Citadel. You can actually make a map to find the Citadel. You need to use paper, cinder essence, and ancient knowledge fragments. I'm going to go into more detail about these ancient knowledge fragments. They're also very important for the last and hidden class of magic. You can find them located in ancient cities and bookshelf loot, as well as from wandering traders, but they're pretty valuable. But you can also make this ancient furled map to the Citadel. Granted, this Citadel is within 1,500 blocks of 0, so it might be worth looking for it before you use a map. The Citadel is like right in front of me. I don't know if this is like locked onto a different one, but that's the Citadel peeking out over there. But another item you might want to make going into here is called the Cinderous Soul Caller. This is how you're going to call in a boss. So you're going to need 2 netherite scrap, an echo shard, and 6 cinder essence. So we'll take that. Now you're going to want to be pretty well geared for this. But here we go. We have the catacombs. Let's just drop down. Yeah, so the catacombs are quite extensive, as well as there is a big boss fight. Like you can see here, there's 3 armor piles if we wanted to summon in some knights. These barrels are just full of lots of arrows and crossbows and arcane essence. Now, part of me just wonders, could I just do this? Can he hit me? Oh, okay, he got a hit in. But I also have magic, so... Got him. Oh, that guy dropped gold nuggets and a sword. Huh. You know what? I'll hit him with the Firefly Swarm. Huh. New method just dropped. So these Ancient Knights seem to have different loot they're dropping. This guy dropped the Decrepit Flamebearer, which I believe... Actually, they both dropped these. I believe... Well, you can grindstone these into better ones, but you can also upgrade it later on. But we need to get a Pyrium ingot, which we haven't found yet. So let's keep going forward. There's another trial spawner in here. This guy's dropping netherite scraps. Oh, okay. At least this trial spawner spat something out, which was just more cinder essence, but whatever. So, oh, look at this. Ancient debris in here. A level 4 spell. Another big spell. Emeralds. All right, let's go upstairs. Okay, so this is an interesting room here because there are vaults. Because, yes, you can actually get keys for these vaults, and that's where some of the rarer items are going to be. I believe these guys right here are bad guys. Yep. Cursed armor stands. I got netherite gear. This guy literally just dropped a netherite chestplate. I mean, it's on 0 XP, but put a mending book on that, save you a netherite ingot. If you go downstairs in this middle tower, you can find the library, which I believe there is some good loot in here. But also, as you can see, spawners. This is a very precarious place to be at. They're spawning in so many of these guys. This one also just spit out Cinder Essence. But now that we've defeated far too many of those Ancient Knights, we can look around. I believe there is, in some of these shelves here, barrels. Oh, Citadel Tome and a chained book. I don't know what these do, but there's a level 9 scroll in here. I cannot for the life of me figure out the use for these chained books. The wiki is completely blank. Even like Reddit results seem, yeah, there's no crafting recipe and just enough items. So I don't know what the chained books are for. Maybe they have a purpose in the future or a secret purpose. Another chained book, but a level 9 scroll and ancient knowledge fragment. So this is a good place to get these. You're going to need a bunch of these if you want to do some of the harder legendary last tier of magic, just so you know. 2 summon polar bear scrolls. 2 more ancient knowledge tomes. But then also you got to be wary. After 30 minutes, those trial spawners will kick back in again. Another disc fragment. More ancient knowledge fragments. Okay, this is the place to get these. But after you loot the library down below, you probably would want to return to the overworld and, you know, deposit your stuff. All right, it's finally spell time, and we're going to start with ice magic. Now, there is a few ice-related gear as well. I've shown off the Frost Ward ring. Also, if you make this Frosted Helve using arcane ingots, frozen bones, you can make something called a Frosted Helve, which allows you to make the ice staff using that permafrost shard we got at the ship. Now, this ice staff I included in here because it gives plus 15% ice spell power. So when we're wielding our ice spells and using this bad boy, it just literally just makes them stronger. Now, also, if you have a blink runestone, you can make an ice rune using frozen bones, or also in the Cryomancer Tower, you can kill the Cryomancer to get a ice rune. Now, ice runes can be used to upgrade the wizard armor into Cryomancer armor. So you have the Cryomancer hood by just using an ice rune and arcane essence with the wizard hood. And pretty much everything is the same, except it's also plus 10% ice spell power. And we'll make each one here. Boom. I kind of like the Cryomancer robes. There's also a spell book for ice magic called the Frost Branded Book, which you can make using 3 of those ice venom vials, 2 mithril scraps, a ruined book, which you can find in ancient cities, and 3 arcane cloths. You get that gives you another plus 10% ice spell power, as well as 200 max mana. And it comes with 12 spells by default. And we got an advancement for that. So I have equipped, and now we have 800 mana, and we do so much extra frost damage. Might as well just throw on the Frost Ward ring. Right. If you use a scroll forge and you use any type of ink with paper and a frozen bone, you can choose between the different spells. Now, you don't have to use legendary ink, but I'm going to just use legendary ink to show these off, so at the highest tier. But most of these scrolls have between 1 to 10 levels, and there's a description. So we're going to start with the Cone of Cold. Hold out to cast a cone of cold energy, freezing creatures in its path. So this at the highest level, there's 10 levels of this spell, and it does 14.5 damage, and it costs 28 mana. So let's use it. Should probably go into survival mode. That did a lot of frost damage, as well as it freeze the dummy here. I wonder if it could go through multiple opponents. Yeah, you can get multiple opponents. The only thing is it does have a bit of a cooldown, but definitely kills mobs quickly. Next, we have Icicle, which has 10 levels. Load that into our spell book. Icicle costs 28 mana and has a 1-second cooldown. It does 18.9 damage, which that means it should be boosted using all of our things here. Yeah, 21.7 damage at the legendary tier, plus freezing. So let's go into survival. Let's see this Iron Golem. Let's get him mad. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And he got super slowed by the frost. Oh, yeah. Icicle is pretty cool with its quick cooldown. And if you can get it up to legendary tier with the Cryomancer gear, this thing is just... like, that'll just kill your average zombie. One hit. Huh. Next, we have Ray of Frost, which is fire a beam of cold energy, dealing low damage, but immediately applying freeze to the creature it hits. Okay, and this one has 5 levels and does 33.9 damage. All right. Whoa. Okay, this has a 15-second cooldown, though. But that did a lot of damage. It does 33 damage. So it's kind of like Icicle, except it has a longer cooldown. Bang. Yeah, that's quite nice. Then switch to Icicle, bang. The only thing is the cooldown. Next, we have Frost Wave, which is cascade a wave of frost magic in a radius around you, afflicting creatures with chilled. Chilled creatures become entombed in ice when fully frozen. Let's spawn in some zombies and hit the... oh, God. There we go. I think I froze them. Actually, I do want to see if the Ray of Frost goes through multiple zombies. Oh, no. But it does turn these zombies into ice cubes when they die. Oh, okay. So now I understand it. So when you use Frost Wave, it gives them that chilled effect. And then if you use another magic spell like the Cone of Colds or whatever we use, it will turn them into blocks of ice. I am conducting a controlled experiment. I'm going to do Frost Wave. All right, so they all have the chilled effect for a minute. And then I'm going to hit them with the Cone of Colds. Yeah, and they immediately just turn to ice cubes and die. That's a pretty cool combo move right there. Next, we have Ice Tomb. Encase yourself in a protective tomb of ice, providing healing while within, absorbing 1 hit or counterspell before breaking. Dismount to leave the tomb. Okay, so this is a protection/healing spell. Let's Ice Tomb it up. Huh, we turned ourselves into a tomb, and now you can just press shift to leave. All right, I'm gonna spawn in some bad guys in survival mode, let them hit me a bit. I'm gonna wait, take some more damage, and then... now, okay. So it protects me from 1 singular hit when I use it, but I could kind of run off and use it to heal. I have 2 hearts, and I'm gonna use Ice Tomb. Okay. It's healing at a decent rate. Not the fastest. But in a pinch situation where you don't have food, like me right now, that just healed me up to full. Very nice. Next, we have Ice Spikes. Unleash a cascading line of ice magic, creating ice crystals that emerge from the ground. The final spike does full damage and will emerge early if a creature within the range is targeted. All right, this costs 120 mana. Should mention that Ice Tomb also used 120 mana, so does Ice Spikes. Icicle is kind of the cheapest right now. Well, Cone of Cold technically is. Time for Ice Spikes, 43 damage. These baby zombies always killing my vibe. You know what? I'm going to Icicle you. You're dead. Ice Spikes. Oh! I see what they mean. That is really cool. I'm going to use some of my other spells. Finish off these guys. So this is why it's good to specialize in a certain form of magic, because all of the magic spells I have here, they do boosted damage, which is quite nice. Okay. Bang. Then I really got one of them, but it did kill them pretty quickly. Next we have Snowball, which has 5 levels, has a 1-second cast time, costs 48 mana, and a 12-second cooldown. Snowball. Oh. Oh, and it froze the dummy here. Huh. All right, let's spawn in a crowd. Oh, shoot. And let's see if I use Cone of Cold on him here. Oh, wow. Oh, and if any new mobs walk through, they probably will freeze as well. Oh, golly. That snowball is quite the spell. Hit him with another one. Bang, you're frozen. Cone of Cold. Dang. Well, that was the snowball. It does a lot of AoE damage, good for a big crowd of mobs. That was pretty sick. Frost Step. Teleport to where you are looking, leaving behind a shadow of ice. This shadow will take nearby aggro and shatter into icicles after 5 seconds or upon taking any damage. Okay. This costs 45 mana, has a 12-second cooldown, has a 27 block range. Obviously, we're doing legendary level here. So, a teleport? I'm going to spawn in some bad guys, but I think it's like a hostile teleportation thing. I'm going to aim over this way. Oh. Oh, did you see that? It like left behind a shadow that they went after. Wait, that was really cool. So basically, these guys are after me. I can kind of look somewhere to teleport. Oh, okay. They immediately got it. So if I go over here and then I'll teleport somewhere closer, like right there. It left an ice statue of myself. Oh my god, wait, that was perfect. And after a few seconds, it explodes in icicles, but they'll also target it. It's kind of like a dummy. That's really cool. That one is called Frost Step, and it only costs 45 mana. That's pretty sweet, and does 26 damage, so that can one-hit like zombies and skeletons and stuff. Can I teleport like up there? Oh! Wait, that's just casual teleportation there. Oh, and I managed to hit 2 of the dummies for 20 damage. Holy moly. Next, we have Ice Block. Conjure up a giant chunk of ice above a targeted creature or block. After a short delay, it will fall down and explode for an area of frost damage, doing additional damage to any creatures it hit on the way down. So this has 5 levels. It does 45 damage, takes a 1.5 seconds to cast, and it costs 80 mana with a 15-second cooldown. It's crazy how all of these are fitting into this frost-branded book. Let's try it out on this dummy first. Oh, it literally just spawns... It's like a giant anvil above them. Ice block time. Huh. I don't even know how you lived. Bang. Okay, well that's comical and very effective. Can I hit you, Mr. Villager? Yep. Would this kill a villager? Yup. Next, we have Summon Polar Bear. Cast to summon a polar bear who will follow, protect, and fight for you, as well as providing a mount. The legendary polar bear has 107 HP and does 22 damage. Takes 1 second to cast, but it does cost 120 mana and has a 3-minute cooldown. But this one is awesome because summon a polar bear, hop on top of it. If I spawn a bunch of bad guys, I can hop off, and the polar bear will fight for me. Why is he fighting the dummy? Okay, well, that's a problem you won't have. Oh, there we go. He killed the zombie. But the polar bear will fight for me. He does a lot of damage. Like, look how much health he has as well. And he can be your mount. You know, I can shoot my magic from up here. You know, drop ice cubes on foes. And he lasts a while. You can see at the top of the screen, he's going to be around for 10 minutes. It's like if you focus on... is he just going to go after the dummy? Well, you can see he does a consistent 22.7 damage. That's a lot of damage. All right, well, he can... I think I can cast the spell again on summons. Yeah, and I can uncast him. All right, the last one here is Frostbite. Imbue yourself with a magical frostbiting power, making any fully frozen creature you kill turn into an ice shadow. Ice shadows shatter into icicles after 5 seconds or upon taking any damage. Interesting. So I'm assuming that means... if we can freeze a bunch of these zombies, right? And then we hit them with Frostbite... It turns them into shadows. Which are those same ones that I was able to turn into, except now there's a ton of them. Huh. So you literally could just turn them into, well, bombs, basically. So fighting a lot of enemies at once could be very useful. Oh, I just froze that villager. And it's gonna explode and kill that zombie. Or turn that zombie into... ice. There we go. Oh, I think while I have this frostbite effect, it just... Wait, I'm going to spawn in a brand new one. Yeah, anyone I kill just turns into an explosive. Wait, that is awesome. Spawn in a bunch of bad guys here. Hit them with the cone of cold. They just turn into explosive zombies. And you hit them and boom. I also need to show you guys how upgrades work. So this is the last way you could continue to upgrade your ice magic or any other type of magic. You have to make an empty upgrade orb using 4 arcane ingots, 4 cinder essence, and 1 mithril ingot. These upgrade orbs will be the base for any of the upgrade orbs you make. And for this example, an ice upgrade orb is made from 8 ice runes around an empty upgrade orb. And basically, this allows you to apply plus 5% ice spell power to any piece of equipment you have, pretty much. So, for example, if I go up to an arcane anvil and I take my Cryomancer coat, which has plus 10% ice spell power, and I give it the ice upgrade orb, that becomes plus 15% ice spell power, which is a slight upgrade. But you can do that a few times, I believe, because not only can you stack these, so now this can be turned into plus 20% ice power, you can do it again to plus 25. That's the limit, is you can make it go as high as 25%. But there's no limit to how many pieces of gear you can put these on. And actually, the ice staff, you can just do it at least 3 times, so the ice staff can get up to plus 30% ice spell power. You can even take your frost-banded book that already has plus 10 by default and continue to upgrade that as well. Up it to 25%. So now, with all of these upgrades maxed out, which granted, that would take a ton of ice magic runes, but now the icicle is doing 33, and the cone of cold is doing 24, or basically 25 damage a second with the ice block. Boom! The ice block doing 70 damage. So this is how you can really just max out your damage on a specific class. I'm going to cover all the other upgrades as we go over the different types of magic. And onto fire magic, we can start with these fire runes and fire upgrade orbs right away. So this is how you make a fire rune, just by using blaze rods. And then of course there's the fire upgrade orb, which you can apply to your armor, such as these Pyromancer robes. You're going to notice this is a recurring pattern. Take the rune of the class of magic you're doing, mix it with a wizard hat and arcane essence, and you'll get that specific armor. So same for the Pyromancer armor here. So we'll get the Pyromancer hat, the Pyromancer robe, the Pyromancer leggings, and the Pyromancer boots. We'll throw those on. And this is just the same as the Cryomancer stuff, but specifically plus 10% fire spell power this time. I think I showed you, but this is a nice ring to own, which is the Fire Ward ring made with Cinder Essence. And also, there's an ingredient called Pyrium that you can get from the Citadels in the Nether. I'm uncertain if I showed you guys that before or after this, but yes, either way, in this video, I show you guys the Citadels where you can get this Pyrium ingot. And if you mix that with a Netherite ingot and Arcane Cloth, you can get a Pyrium staff, which has 9 attack damage, plus 15% fire spell power, plus 10% cast time reduction, and plus 5% spell power in general. So this is actually a very good staff to have. Mix that with the Pyromancer Tower here that we showed off earlier. He has a rare drop of dropping the Blaze Instruction Manual. There's no crafting recipe for this, but this is a fire-oriented spell book that also gives you plus 200 mana. So the ingredient for fire spells is Blaze Rods, and there's a bunch of fire spells here, starting with the Blaze Storm, which is hold to unleash a barrage of blaze fireballs, shooting rapidly but wildly in front of you and igniting any creatures or blocks it hits. So essentially, this is what blazes will shoot at you. The highest level, which is level 10, does 10 damage, costs 28 mana a second, and has a 20-second cooldown. Also takes 5.25 seconds to cast, which is kind of crazy. But let me add that spell. Let me place a dummy down here, and let's torch him. Oh yeah, so that's doing 10 damage a hit here. Huh. And of course the magic just keeps shooting. I imagine when it recharges, I can just shoot it at blocks and it will light them on fire. At least according to the spell, that was possible. Fire spells are going to be a great source of cooked meats, I'll tell you that much. Next we have Burning Dash, which is quickly launch yourself forward in a haze of fire, searing creatures you pass through while in a blaze. So this is actually a movement spell as well. At level 10, it does 23 damage, costs 38 mana to cast, and has a 10-second cooldown. Now, this one I like if we aim towards these dummies. Oh, I just did a Burning Dash there. Well, let's go into survival mode, third person. I'm gonna jump and dash. Oh, you will still take fall damage, so you don't always want to go too airborne. But if we aim it well, we might be able to go through these dummies here. Doing 25 damage as you fly through. So it's just kind of a good way to escape like a herd of bad guys coming after you. You're like, oh no. Right? You can just be like, I'm gonna... Well, I was gonna try to fly through them, but I collided with them. That works too. Yeah. Good night. All right, next we have Firebolt. Shoot a small projectile of fire, igniting whatever it hits. At level 10, it does 21.65 damage, has a 28 mana cost, and a 1-second cooldown. By the way, you can use other types of inks to craft these scrolls. I'm just showing you the highest level because I can't go through 10 levels of every single scroll. But it incrementally usually does more and more damage and has better stats depending on whatever the spell is. So Firebolts is kind of like that Icicle spell. It just shoots a straight firebolt. With all of the gear and everything, it's doing, 21 damage on impact as well as lighting on fire. So any zombies like this, you gotta just wait a second and you can pretty much one-hit every single one of them. Big fan of that one. I mean, this is just a classic spell. Can I snipe? Like, I see a horse over there. Oh. It did hit the horse. Wow. Next we have Fire Breath. Hold to spew a cone of fire outwards, igniting creatures and blocks in its path. At level 10, this does 15 damage, 5.5 second cast duration, costs 28 mana a second, and has a 12-second cooldown. Let's do it. Oh, we could just go through all of these guys. Yeah, that does like 15 damage a second. It's like just dragon's breath. Okay, let's try it on these zombies. Huh. Wow, I really like that fire texture too. But that just destroyed a herd of zombies. Obviously, this is the highest tier, but as you've seen in this video, getting legendary ink isn't that crazy of a task. Wow. The cone effect there allows you to really just take out a whole herd following you. That is very cool. Next, we have Wall of Fire, which recast to place anchor points, which erupt into a wall of fire. When the cast finishes, or when the maximum length is reached, this wall blocks projectiles and ignites creatures that pass through it. Whoa. Heck yeah. It costs 50 mana to cast and has a 30-second cooldown. This one has me confused because it says recast to place multiple points. Okay, there we go. That kind of worked, and it made a wall of fire. Apparently, if I cast it, it can block projectiles, so I'm going to try that. Huh. Wow, that's pretty cool. The wall of fire will not only block projectiles, but it will bounce off and sometimes even bounce back at the skeleton. That is really cool. Thank you for taking part in my experiment, skeleton. You're dead now. Oh, God. Come on, put the wall up. Yes. All right, it killed any of those guys running through the wall, which was nice. Come back through it. Oh, I can run through my own wall. Huh, that's good to know. Next, we have Heat Surge. Emanate a surge of fiery magic, igniting and rending creatures in a radius around you. Rended creatures have reduced armor. 40% reduced armor, 41-second effect length. Oh, that's how long it lasts. 0.9-second cast time, 9-block radius, costs 100 mana, and has a 45-second cooldown. So I'm going to cast this spell in creative mode real quick. I wonder if this reduces their armors. Oh! So they do have rend... So-and-so, alright. Let's see if they'll take more damage. I mean, I guess they died pretty quick. Well, that's very cool. So that's a good way to, like, weaken enemies around you. It's a 9-block radius and does minus 40% to their armor, which is pretty cool. Next, we have Flaming Strike. Unleash a sweeping melee attack in the form of a wreath of flames. This spell is uninterruptible. The damage scales off your held weapon's melee damage and enchantments. All right, does 23.4 damage, takes half a second to cast, costs 90 mana to cast, and has a 15-second cooldown. Okay, so I think I need a sword. So let's see. I'm going to cast this spell. What's supposed to be happening? I'm going to cast it again. Oh, I see. All right, we'll get up close and personal. Ooh, and you can't be interrupted. That actually did a lot of damage. Okay, so that's just kind of like a charge hard, heavy, fiery swing. I like that. Next, we have Magma Bomb. Launch a bomb made from magma, exploding on impact and leaving a field of fire wherever it lands. This does 14.4 damage, 5.6 AoE damage. It has a 4.8 block radius. It takes 1 second to cast, 60 mana. It costs 60 mana and has a 12-second cooldown. Magma Ball time. Boom. Oh. And this actually creates a ring of fire that does a 5.7 damage a second. Okay. Well, of course, we got to spawn in more bad guys. Okay. Come on, guys. Oh. This guy didn't make it. Okay, that killed that whole herd. I need this guy to hop in the fire. Huh. How far can we launch this thing, though? Not incredibly far, but that does have a wide range. Well, that was a magma bomb. Next, we have Scorch. In a targeted area, erupt a scorch of fiery magic, damaging creatures in the zone and leaving a field of fire. This has a 2.5 block radius, does 33 damage, takes 0.9 seconds to cast. It costs 90 mana, and has a 12-second cooldown. Oh, okay. It has a long-lasting flaming circle that does quite a bit of damage, kind of like the magma bomb. But let's do this again, but let's aim at like the front or middle guy, maybe. Yeah, let's do like the middle guy here. Boom! So it makes a circle of range, a 2.5 block circle, and just blasts down into a fiery bomb. That does a lot of damage. That was really nice to have. Oh god. Bang, hit him with that. Ah! Oh my god, he almost got me. Huh. Boom. Oh, sorry, villagers. Damn, okay, these fire spells are very nice. Next, we have Fireball, which manifests and throw a ball of fire, exploding and dealing massive damage on impact. This does 41 damage, takes 2 seconds to cast, has a 9 block radius, and costs 105 mana to cast with a 25-second cooldown. Fireball. Oh, okay, that just goes straight. That doesn't even have a fall. Okay, I thought that was going to fall like the magma. Okay, it's going to take a bit. Here, actually, we'll just go into creative. All right, let's launch it. Oh my god, that does a wide range of damage. All right, I just want to see. All these wither skeletons. Oh, they lived. But a few of them died. Then I can just cast the magma ball. Pillager. Bang. I'm a big fan of the animation of this fireball spell. Let's see if we can hit that group of horses over there. From all the way over here. Boom! Next we have Flaming Barrage. Cast to select targets, which at the end of recasting will each be under a barrage of small fireballs. Has 4 levels, does 18.5 damage, has 5 projectiles, costs 95 mana, and has a 15-second cooldown. Alright, but I have maxed out my spell book, so it's time to show you guys actually another crafting ingredient for the lesser spell slot improvement, using 6 hogskin and 3 arcane cloths if you create this item. So if you take this lesser spell slot improvement and put it into an arcane anvil, you can turn this 10-slot book, or any spell book that you have, into an 11-slot. And this can be used up to 12 slots. So I'm going to upgrade this up to 12. So now we can put the Flaming Barrage in our spell book. Okay, pick targets. Oh, I see. I can select. Oh, that was crazy. So I was able to select a bunch of targets. And then after the countdown ends, they all get shot at with a barrage of explosive. Okay, we got to spawn in some bad guys here. I should mention this has a 15-second cooldown, which isn't that bad, honestly. All right, survival mode. Boom. Huh. So I just pick a few targets and they get obliterated. Huh. I cast the magma ball straight up in the air and it got him. Lastly, we have Fire Arrow. Aim an arrow made of fiery magic that will deal a direct damage on impact and explode for half the damage in a small radius around it. It flies straight for a duration before gravity affects it. The level 8 legendary does 37 damage, has a 3-block radius, does 18.5 AoE damage, and has a 0.9 second cast time. It costs 75 mana and has an 8-second cooldown. So that will fill up our entire flame book with every single fire spell. So let's try it out here. Boom. Okay, wow, that does a lot of damage and does have a wide AoE damage. And it takes 8 seconds to recharge. Let's hit the one in the middle. Can we do damage to the others? Yeah. Wow, okay. Let's get a herd of these guys going. Yup. Okay, I gotta let this arrow recharge. Oh, gosh. Oh. The baby tanked it. Oh, we got a pillager on me. What are you doing here, buddy? Boom. Fire arrow to the face. All right, well, since we're on the last spell here, might as well hit the fire barrage. Yup. And burning dash. Oh, God, how did they live? Fire breath. All right, pretty cool. Yeah, so fire arrow is really, you just have a really good explosive bow and arrow without having to use any arrows. And that goes pretty far. So it does go straight for a little bit before dropping. But, like, that has a decent range on it. And I love the explosion animation. Next, we have Ender Magic. Now, this is one of the smallest classes of magic, but it does have some of the coolest spells as well. So one ingredient that you need to know about is dragon scales, or sorry, dragon skin, because you can use that mixed with a ruined book and crying obsidian to make the dragon skin spellbook, which is plus 10% Ender spell power and plus 200 max mana. Now, this is like the only thing... Oh, you get an advancement for that. This is one of the only items that actually boosts Ender Magic besides this. It's just this in the armor. There's no staff or any other items besides, of course, there is an Ender upgrade, which you would make with Ender Runes, which you can make these with just Ender Pearls. And that's actually, Ender Pearls are the main ingredient for the Ender spells, which I guess makes sense. There's Ender Armor, but this is actually called Shadow Walker Armor, which is kind of a cool name. It's made the same as all the other armors except using an Ender Rune this time, of course. Grab the fit and put it on. And then, of course, equipped our dragon skin, our spell book. Oh, man, we look freaking cool. Now, there's another important crafting recipe we'll get to in a bit called the Portal Frame, made with arcane ingots, mithril ingots, and an ender pearl, but we'll get to that. And the first spell we have here is Dragon's Breath, which is hold to spew a cone of Dragon's Breath forward. Each time a creature is hit, there is a chance to create a pool of Dragon's Breath at their feet. So literally, like, you just get the dragon's ability. I'm gonna run the Greybeard staff, because at least it does boost spell damage a little bit. So this is Dragon's Breath. And as you can see, some of them, there's a chance to spawn a little bit of lingering Dragon's Breath on the ground. That did a lot of damage, actually. Wow. All right, here's a couple iron golems. Let's see. Wow. Okay, the maxed out Dragon's Breath does a lot of damage. That was really good. Next Ender spell here is Magic Missile, which allows you to shoot a bolt of concentrated arcane magic, also the trademark of every wizard. This does 20 damage and costs 28 mana and has a 1-second cooldown. Okay, yes. Okay, this is just the magic, just pure magic blast. This honestly does a lot of damage, though. Goodbye, baby. Oh. Has a little bit of a cooldown, but not much, and does a lot of damage. The next one we have is Starfall. Target a single area and continuously rain down arcane comets from above for the duration of the spell. So the level 9 here lasts 8 seconds, does 15.6 damage, has a 6-block radius, uses 26 mana a second, it has a 16-second cooldown. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's like a rain cloud of magic. Wait, that did a lot of damage. I'm gonna add some bad guys here. Oh, they're after me. I kind of forgot. I should have let this spell recharge first. You're dead. You're dead. Huh. Let's see. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. They're on me. I didn't think this through. Except Dragon's Breath. Oh. Well, Starfall is honestly very strong when it's maxed out. That spell lasts a while. Next, we have Teleport, which is instantaneously teleport to where you're looking, leaving nothing but a cloud of Ender energy behind. The maxed out legendary spell has 86.8 block range. It costs 40 mana and has a 3-second cooldown. So yeah, the legendary tier is pretty crazy. 90 blocks. How far is that way? Boom. Wow. Boop onto the street. I mean, let's go into survival mode here, actually, just to show off this. I mean, teleported so far, I can't even see where I came from. Yep, teleporting back over here. Very useful tool. I mean, boom. Teleport up here. Teleport up here. I can, like, that's where we just were. Huh. How close to that can we get? Oh! Oh my gosh, 1 heart. Okay. Be careful how you teleport. Next, we have Recall, which warps you back to your spawn location or world spawn if there is none. So the highest level of this one is Uncommon, even if you use Legendary Ink, so you're probably just better off using Uncommon Ink. But we're rich, so I'm going to do it. This costs 100 mana, has a 5-minute cooldown, and takes 4 seconds to cast. Okay, so I set my spawn here, but I'm curious, does it work interdimensionally? Let's say I fly to the Nether. Can I use the Recall here? Takes 4 seconds to cast. Oh, okay, that's a huge perk of that. So yeah, it just takes 4 seconds to cast, and then it lets you recall to your spawn point. That is massive, especially with the teleport spell. You can just travel super far, have no care in the world, and you can just teleport yourself back. Okay, these ender spells are super useful, but it gets crazier because next is Portal. Creates 2 portals that allow players to travel back and forth between them. So these are only temporary portals. The max level has a 48 cast range, has a 17.5-minute portal duration. So if we put this in here, we can make a portal. It costs 220 mana to cast, and also we're going to need portal frames. So using this crafting recipe here, we get 2 conveniently, and we can create a portal between 2 locations. So we'll set one up here, and then we'll set one up here. Cast on that portals, and then we cast on that portal. And now look at this. Womp. We went through the portal pretty instantaneously as well. So I don't know exactly what this would be used for. Maybe you could have some sort of secret layer. I kind of wish there was a way to keep it activated for a long time. It does have a 3-minute cooldown, but to be fair, the portal will stay open for 17.5 minutes. Maybe, I guess it would be good, like if you're working on a project, let's say at a big quarry, it would just be easy to go between 2 points if you're like moving a lot of stuff. So like if you're off on a far adventure, right, and you want to maybe come back here, but you want to dump off some gear, you could drop a portal frame down, light it, right, then go back to recall, cast the recall, and then light this portal. And then now you're back in your base, you can go change your gear and travel between these 2 portals. So that's a really honestly cool way to travel back and forth, kind of almost make a temporary checkpoint, and then you have 17 minutes. So if you needed to swap out gear, let's just say there was a boss fight, but you wanted to go and get more heals and swap out, drop off good loot, there you go. Use the portal frames. I think that is a really cool use of magic. Next, we have Counter Spell. But basically, this will stop an incoming spell being cast on you. So let's just say I make this guy mad at me, and he starts, okay, stop throwing potions at me and use a spell. There we go. I canceled a spell. So anytime it says, hey, a foe is targeting you with a spell, you can use the counter spell. I don't know why I was using the scrolls. I just made so many. You can, of course, add it to your staff. But now that counter spell, if you're quick with it, maybe you'd keybind it to a specific hotkey. You could counter any spells. There's also some bosses that use spells, of course, as well as these annoying fellas. Next, we have Magic Arrow. This is kind of like the Flame Arrow. At the Legendary tier, it does 43.2 damage, and it takes 1.5 seconds to cast, and also costs 75 mana and has an 8-second cooldown. Bang, 46 damage. I also believe it can travel between enemies. Yep. So you can collateral. Let's hit it with this real quick. Yep. Through the baby. Okay, we just gotta let it recharge. But the recharge time isn't too bad on this thing. Oh, I just took out all 4. Yeah, the magic arrow is pretty nice. You never even need to carry a bow again, honestly. Next is Summon Ender Chest. This is one, like it says, the highest is rare tier. So you can make it with legendary ink, but that would be a waste. I'm going to make it with legendary ink. But this is the Summon Ender Chest. You can apparate your Ender Chest inventory right in front of your eyes. So you can just have this on and be like, huh. And it's instantaneous cast. It costs literally just 25 mana. This is a type of spell you would probably just imbue into your chest plate. All right, so we combine our Shatterwalker chest plate with the Ender Chest. I feel like this is just the type of spell you'd always want equipped. So in case you didn't have your book on you, you just always could just press V and be like, oh, what's in my Ender Chest? It's kind of just like having a permanent backpack on you. I mean, it doesn't cost that much mana at all. I would personally recommend doing something like that. Next spell we have here is Echoing Strikes. While under the effects of the spell, non-magical attacks will leave an echo of Ender energy behind, shortly thereafter exploding with an echo of the original attack's damage. Oh, okay, yeah. So let me make this. This will make more sense when I actually do it. There's a 2-block radius, a 60-second effect, well, 58.7 effect length, 80 mana cost, 60-second cooldown. This does 100% damage. So what this spell basically does, at different tiers, it will do different amounts. So the legendary tier of Echoing Strikes, it basically echoes your hit. So if I activate this and I hit this dummy, it will echo. And since it's actually boosted and does 100, it actually does, the echo is actually doing more damage. So this is just something where if you're fighting a boss, you could just get double hits in. This only applies for physical damage, though. Now, if you used a lower tier of this spell, instead of doing 7, it would probably do about 4 or 5 damage on the echo. It just makes it way easier. Like, if I had a sword with sharpness 5, it also, as you can see, hits the other mobs around it. So if I just hit one zombie here, they actually all just got echoed on. That's pretty crazy. So it's just a powerful way to basically double your damage. I don't know why the echo isn't working on him, but... And of course it runs out. You can cast it again. And it matches how much damage you're doing. So I have sharpness 5 now. It's doing 10 damage. The echo is now also doing 10 damage. Next is Summoning Swords. This has 4 levels. The legendary has 3 summons that do 158 damage and 216% health. 1 second cast time. It costs 125 mana, and it has a 2.5 minute cooldown. So this one is interesting. This one, basically, you summon these magical swords. Let me show you. Let's spawn in some bad guys, and we'll cast the Summoning Swords. These guys will basically fight for me. They're magical swords. And they'll hang around for 10 minutes or until they're ultimately destroyed. But I could just walk around. These guys will defend me. Hit the Echoing Strikes. Oh, but look at that! Like they're like the sword is distracting the other zombies here. The other one's coming in for backup. Very nice. So it's just a cool summon that you can create that will just, well, basically you just have a bunch of magical swords protecting you. It's pretty cool. Next we have Evasion. This works just like the Evasion Elixir. The highest level Evasion Scroll is honestly better than the Elixir because it allows you to dodge 6 hits, costs 100 mana to cost, and has a 3-minute cooldown. But this is a fun spell where if spawning a bad guy, well, I also have these swords protecting me. But if I have Evasion, basically every time they hit me, I have 6 free times where I won't get hit. And now that I've been... And honestly, if I pair it with the swords... I can just stand still while my swords slice them up and I teleport around. So Evasion is a really good defensive one. That's probably also something you could bind to your sword or something where you could just evade damage pretty much immediately. Give yourself a few seconds to live. But lastly, here we have Black Hole. This has 1 level. It's legendary only. So you can only make the spell if you have legendary ink. It costs 300 mana, has a 2-minute cooldown, does 3.6 AoE damage, has a 6.2 block radius, and a 5-second cast time. So let me throw this on the scroll here, and let's summon just a bunch of bad guys. I'm gonna go on creative, and I'm gonna create this black hole. Yep. It creates a giant floating black hole. Oh, what happened to my sword? Oh, yep. And yeah, well, granted, these swords are still here to help. They're very powerful. This black hole will suck up any entities and continuously do some damage to them. Pair that with the sword summons, I guess you're just unstoppable. Or honestly, pair it with the Starfall. God, there's so many spells equipped here. You can really go all out, and if you could mix keybinds, I mean, you could really be unstoppable. But that is it for the Ender Magic. All right, next we have Evocation Magic. Now, Evocation's main ingredient is emeralds, which is also how you make the spells. And this is centered around evokers and basically pillager and villager magic. You can make Arch-Evoker robes by same thing as the others with Arcane Essence, Evocation Rune, and Wizard Hood, as well as, you know, the rest. Make it with the Wizard robes. You got the Arch-Evoker robes with like the top hat. This does plus 10% evocation spell power. Oh, there's a pillager here. Well, good time to show off this spell book. Oh god, he can interrupt my spells. Oh no. Someone Vex. Get him. Oh, I accidentally got rid of him. Bang. So, I just picked up this spell book called the Grimoire of Evocation. Grimoire of Evocation? I don't even know. So many unpronounceable words. But this is a rare drop from evokers or arch-evokers when you kill them. And it's a spell book that comes with 3 spells pre-inscribed, which is the Fang Strike, the Fang Ward, and Summon Vexes. We'll explain what all of these do when we go through the spells here in a second. The book also does 200 mana and plus 10% to evocation spell power. So, and it has 10 slots, so you'd still have to upgrade it to get it to 12, but pretty cool find. All right, also, I'm not sure if I showed off how to craft this staff, but this is the Artificer's Cane. The Artificer's Cane. It's just another cane. You have to use crimson planks and 2 gold ingots and an amethyst shard. It's plus 15 cast time reduction, plus 15 cooldown reduction, and plus 10 spell power. There's no staffs that help with evocation, but this is a cool staff you can make that helps with cooldowns. But let's get to these spells, starting with Fang Strike. Fang Strike, you conjure a line of evoker fangs in front of you in a classic Illager fashion. But this is actually one of them that is preloaded on my spellbook here. The Fang Strike. So this is the classic evoker spell that they use in raids. Let's go into survival mode here. Boom, 21 damage is pretty nice. Oh god, boom, I got it off in time. It does take a second to cool down here. Bang. It only costs 45 mana. It costs 45 mana to cast, 4.25 seconds to cool down. It does 21 damage. Pretty nice. Next, we have Fang Ward, which also comes with the spellbook. But this one has 8 levels, has 0.64 cast time, does nearly 30 damage, costs 80 mana, and has 12.5 second cooldown. So Fang Ward, I believe, is like a circle around me. Yeah. And the higher the level, I think you have more rings. So the lower level, I don't think you have 3 rings of teeth around you, but still, this is good when you're just totally surrounded. You got all these guys around you. Oh, God. Oh, but they cancel my... Oh, God. Oh, how'd the baby survive? Okay. Up, up, up. Bang. There we go. And I'll smack this one. There we go. It's very nice. You can do a decent amount of damage. All right, next we have Firecracker. This has 10 levels. The max level does 25.3 damage. It costs 38 mana to cast. Instantaneously conjure a firework where you look that explodes in a small radius around it. Now, this one I was using earlier in the video, and as it says, wherever you look, you just immediately spawn an explosion. And when you have all of the evoker stuff maxed out, I mean, that just insta-kills zombies. It's kind of like the crossbow. Oh, with a good placed one like there, I just instantly killed 3 zombies. So it has splash damage. It's just minimal splash damage. But wow, I mean, I killed 4 there. And it's not very expensive, as you can see here with 800 mana. I mean, my mana almost recharges faster than I can cast the spell. Next, we have Shield. Shield is you conjure a stationary shield of arcane energy where you look. That will block projectiles and prevent creatures from passing. So at level 10, this has 181 HP, costs 80 mana to cast, and has an 8-second cooldown. So let's spawn 1 bad guy at first. And we created a shield. Oh. He kind of walked right through that. Okay, I mean, I guess maybe against like blazes and stuff this could be good, but it definitely doesn't block mobs from coming through. Ow. Like, it's blocking the skeletons, but they are totally able to just walk through the shield, so I don't know what's up with that. I mean, I could see that being useful against, there are like a lot of wizard mobs or like witches and things that are launching projectiles at you where that's useful, but yeah, I don't know. Next is Summon Horse. At max level, this is 58 mana to cast, has a 17-second cooldown. Ow, and I am getting smacked in the back. I'm gonna summon this horse. Will the horse protect me? Do something, horse. Okay. Whoa. Wait, this horse is quick. I imagine this is because it's a legendary horse. Oh my gosh. Bang. So this is just like conjuring a polar bear, but I guess, let me read the description. I guess the horse doesn't really care to protect you. Oh yeah, the horse's speed, health, and jump height will scale with the spell power. So we had a fully maxed out legendary horse scroll. Whoa, I can jump up into trees with this one. So with this spell, the horse survives for 10 minutes, which is pretty good if I do say so myself. And God, the maxed out spell is totally worth it. You would never need to have your own horse, because it's okay if this one dies. You also can, of course, cast a spell to get rid of your steed, because it will just kind of run around in place if you don't need them. So, very cool. Next is Chain Creeper. Around a targeted creature or block, conjure a ring of creeper heads that fall to the ground and explode. Any creature killed by this blast will conjure another, smaller ring of creeper heads. This can chain multiple times. So at max level, it does 9 damage, drops 8 projectiles, takes a second and a half to cast, also costs 90 mana, and has a 15-second cooldown. So let's see here. Okay. Oh, I see. So since I killed him, a smaller amount of creeper heads spawn. So I wonder, like, if you just have enough of these guys. Oh, it changed 3 times there. Huh, that's pretty fun. Bang. Firework. Huh. That's really cool. And pretty powerful when taking out a whole bunch of them. Next, we have Gust. Conjure a strong gust of wind, knocking back creatures in a conical shape. A conical shape? Causing damage if they impact a wall. Level 9 has 351% strength, does 8.5 impact damage, takes 0.64 seconds to cast, costs 70 mana, and has a 10.19 second cooldown. So it sounds like you're conjuring up like a tornado. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and it just slammed him into a wall. Didn't do that much damage. Okay. That didn't kill any of them. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I imagine you could, like, kind of use that usefully. But definitely not the best combat. Yeah, like, they're still alive. Well, I could see the Gust being useful if you needed to, I don't know, launch them down into a pit or something where it could collect their loot. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't really see the Gust that being that useful. Well, you could kind of use it to jump there. Next is Lob Creeper. At level 9, this does 19.5 damage, costs 36 mana to cast, and has a 1.7 second cooldown. This lobs the head of a creeper forward that explodes in a medium radius around the impact. The higher the level, the faster the projectile. Boom. Okay, that did 19.5 damage right there. Okay, I can see what it means with the speed. So it doesn't go super far. Not too bad. It's pretty quick recharge time, so that makes up for the fact that it doesn't totally one-hit. But to be fair, with a slight higher boost to spell power, this would probably one-hit zombies and stuff. Yeah, this is nice. This is one you just want on hotkey. Just convenient, very quick, especially if you have the high level one. Next, we have probably one of my favorite spells in the game. It's called Spectral Hammer. This is conjure a spectral hammer out from where you look that will mine all connected stone-type blocks in a cube where it hits, leaving only the ores and rubble behind. This is how you are going to level up in survival mode in this mod. So the Spectral Hammer, as it says, it allows you to mine out stone. So if I try to cast it... Oh! Okay, I didn't know dirt counted. So, yes, this spell just let me mine out this whole area and left the ores behind. I mean, this was several stacks of cobblestone in an instant. Now, this is the level 10... All right, yeah, this is the level 5. So this one does a 9 by 9 by 10. All the different levels, it's just a smaller and smaller amount of range. But once you have this one, I mean, you could get your netherite robes rather quickly. I mean, you can just make your way downtown. You know, you can make a little mine this way, just like a giant staircase. I mean, in this one chunk, I found 2 sets of diamonds. But we're at diamond and mithril ore level. I've already found more diamonds. I just want to quickly show you guys how useful this spell is. This is what's going to level up your game. I know I'm in creative mode right now, but I just want to speed run this to show you. So even more diamonds. Oh, look at that. Even more diamonds. I mean, this is clearing like a chunk. So you can do the math on the odds of you finding diamonds. Oh, there we go. Look at, I found deep slate mithril ore already. Because that's the rarest ore. And look at how many diamonds we're finding, though. Also, there was more mithril ore here as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's just even more mithril ore, more diamonds. The second you get your hands on this spell and a decent amount of mana, you can just build the coolest underground base ever because it would take you just moments. I do want to clarify if this works. Yeah. Okay, this works in the nether. Even more ancient debris, even more ancient debris. Oh god, we're under a lava lake. Ah. But yeah, Spectral Hammer is my favorite spell, so I took a little moment to show off why. Also, I can imagine on a server, you could spleef people pretty good with this thing. All right, next we have Arrow Volley, which around a targeted creature or block, summon a rolling wave of magical arrows from the sky. Now, at level 6, this drops 80 projectiles that do 3.6 damage each and takes 1.5 seconds to cast, and it uses 90 mana and has a 15-second cooldown. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, and it kind of goes back in a line. Okay, I mean, decent. I mean, it has a somewhat quick recharge time. And probably pretty good for just dealing with a herd of enemies after you because of how far back it goes. Oh, I wanted to see if the hammer worked on sand, and it does. Next, we have Invisibility. Cast to briefly grant yourself true invisibility, which hides your armor and held items, but immediately wears off upon dealing damage. Mobs also lose aggro. Takes 2 seconds to cast. Level 5 lasts for 54 seconds, and it costs 67 mana, and has a 45-second cooldown. So, obviously, this is the highest level, so that's 50 seconds. This is just like the invisibility elixir, but the highest tier seems to last even longer. So if you ever need to like run into a bastion and just wanted to loot everything without fighting hoglins or anything, just go invisible. Sneak past a boss. Sneak into your friend's base. As long as you don't swing, because the second I swing to attack, I pop out of invisibility. That's a really cool spell to have. All right, next we have Summon Vex, which actually came with the Evoker book here. This one is just a simple summon spell that gives me some hexes. And for some reason, they're attacking the dummies here. Maybe they'll protect me. These dummies take all of the aggro from my summons. Will they protect me when I'm literally getting hit? Oh, there we go. But yeah, I mean, they're Vexes that will fight for you. I really like these ones because there's just a bunch of them and they can fly. So when there's a lot of bad guys, they can distract more. And they do 9 damage a hit, as you can see, because they're constantly attacking these dummies. And they're around for 10 minutes, so besides if you can get over the annoying sounds they make, they'd probably be pretty good to have with you when you're just out and about. You just kind of have drones flying around, protecting you. And of course, you can cast them away. Next, we have Slow. In a radius around a targeted creature, apply the slowed effect to enemies, decreasing movement speed, attack speed, mining speed, mana regeneration, and cast time for a duration. At level 3, this does a 30% slow. It lasts for 50.4 seconds. Can target up to 5 people max. It takes a second and a half to cast. And as well as it costs 70 mana and has a minute and a half cooldown. Well, let's start with these guys. Oh, so it's like a ring, and they all got slowed. There we go. Now all of these guys have the effect, and they move slower. Apparently they attack slower. You can just set them on fire. Or that'd be a good effect to do before you do this. Huh. And where'd I go? I'm invisible. Invisibility only breaks if you attack. But if you, like, place a lava bucket or use fire, like, a flint and steel doesn't take you out of true invisibility. So if you ever have to kill some mobs, it's a good way to do it in secrecy. But very cool. I like that slow effect. That's good probably for fighting bosses and their goons. Last is a spell called Wololo. It's a legendary spell. The description is the same as its name. Takes a second and a half to cast, costs 10 mana, and has a 10-second cooldown. I'm actually not quite sure what this one does. Huh. I figured it out. So this is a legendary spell that you can use legendary ink on, but it literally, it makes that sound, wololo. I don't know what that means. But it changes the sheep to a random wool color. Seems to be totally random. I've seen red, blue, gray. Oh, there's different blues, greens. So, I mean, kind of a silly spell, but it definitely seems to be a gimmick spell. But could be useful if you want to make a lot of wool of a certain dye, but you don't want to go out and make it. If you had the spell, you could just kind of go until you get the wool you want. So yeah, I don't know the meaning behind that. Maybe the comments will know, but that's what it does. It works on sheep. Shout out Reddit. That was the only way I was able to find the answer to this because the wiki wouldn't tell me either. And that was the end of the evoker spells. All right, next we have lightning magic. Now, lightning magic is pretty intricate. The main ingredient for lightning magic is Bottle of Lightning. As you've seen in a lot of the structures, you can find a lot of bottles of lightning around the world. But the way to obtain a bottle of lightning is to actually find a creeper, a supercharged creeper. You have to click on a supercharged creeper with a glass bottle. I got it. Oh, hey, you know what? I mean, can I do it a few times? Okay, I can keep doing it. So basically, you're filling these bottles with lightning, but now I'm curious if I just do it like this. Oh, okay, so it does eventually hurt the creeper, but that's how you can obtain bottles of lightning. I actually imagine if you had like heal potions or something set up, you could just keep farming the creeper for lightning while healing it up. But that is how you do that. You are going to use that to make lightning runes by just surrounding a rune with bottles of lightning. Also, you can create this weapon called the Twilight Gale using weapon parts that we showed off earlier, but this is the crafting recipe again if you need it. And 2 nether quartz, a mithril ingot, and a bottle of lightning. Now, this is a very interesting weapon that comes with a spell called Volt Strike imbued into it. It does 13 attack damage and has 1.4 attack speed. I don't really know what a gale is supposed to be, but you can throw it, and this is in survival mode. It's kind of interesting. You throw it, but you still have it in your hands. And the spell imbued costs 50 mana to use, but it's kind of like a Volt Dash. Boom, I did a lightning charge into them. Now, this is only Volt Strike level 5 that does 10 damage, but still pretty cool. It just comes with the spell imbued. Also, you can throw it for a decent amount of damage. You get sharpness 5 on this bad boy. You can one-hit crit kill zombies, so that's pretty crazy. You can make Electromancer armor with wizard robes, and of course, using lightning runes and arcane essence, you can make a full Electromancer's fit. And there's actually a staff you can use to increase your electrical lightning skills. And one thing you need to do to get that is craft an energized core, which is just a block of copper surrounded by bottles of lightning. Now, when you take that, I missed a step, apparently. Oh. Sorry, I missed a step here. Okay, so you need a lightning rod, and it's not that it needs to get struck by lightning. You just basically click on the lightning rod itself. Oh, it does have to be during a thunderstorm, though. I'm going to just do it again so you see. So you have to wait for there to be a thunderstorm, and then you can just click on the lightning rod with the energized core, and that'll make it get hit by lightning, and that'll get you the Rod o' Lightning. This staff here gives you 15% cooldown reduction, plus 5% spell power, and plus 15% lightning spell power. So just good for casting lightning spells. All right, so using the Bottle of Lightning to create your spells, we're going to start out with Electrocute. Hold to manifest a cone of electrical energy, damaging creatures in its path. This is essentially Lord Palpatine's evil lightning hand. This has 12.34 damage and has 5 seconds to cast and costs 24 mana a second with a 12-second cooldown, of course at the legendary tier. And now there's no lightning-oriented spell book, but since we do know how to make the Bottle of Lightning now, I can show you how to make the Ancient Codex, which gives 20% cooldown reduction and gives 200 max mana. It's pretty expensive. You need a netherite ingot, 4 arcane cloths, 2 blood vials, a Bottle of Lightning, and a ruined book, which are found in ancient cities. Now this by default has 12 spell slots. So let's assign Electrocute to our book here. Pull out our staff. Let's summon some enemies. And yeah, we absolutely destroyed them. So as you can see, this is doing like 14.1 damage a second here, which is very nice. Oh, 2 baby zombies. But, oh God. It's on cooldown, guys. Relax. And it kind of like arcs over to even hitting that dummy. Classic spell right there. But next we have Shockwave. I don't even know what that... Coalesce a surge of electrical power and unleash it in a devastating shockwave, blasting exposed creatures. This one costs 105 mana, 0.8 second cast time, has a 30-second cooldown, does 15.25 damage, and has a 16 block radius. So it has a radius. I don't know if it's like around me. Oh, whoa, that hit all the dummies and the zombies there. It does cost 105 mana and has a 19.5 cooldown, but we're gonna spawn in a few sets of bad dudes here. Bang! Oh my God. We took them all out and hit the dummies. That is crazy. Okay, wow. For the second spell, we're already on to some really cool ones. That was Shockwave. Next, we have Ball Lightning. Conjure an orb of lightning that slowly moves forward, damaging creatures it phases through and bouncing off blocks. At level 10, this does 18.4 damage, costs 56 mana to cast, and has a 0.64 second cooldown. Wow, that's a very quick cooldown. All right, Ball Lightning. Huh. And it bounces. Oh my God, it does. Whoa, so in a room? Wait, let's see. Can we get to like bounce back? Oh my God. So we cast a few. It sets off the pressure plate, which is funny. Wow, okay. Chicken jockey. Oh, chicken's dead. And it bounces back. Oh. So let's say I'm running and I don't want to turn around. I can just cast it at the wall. Oh, whatever. You get what I was trying to do. It didn't work out. But this is pretty cool how quickly you can cast this one. Still very cool spell. I imagine in dungeons and in tight rooms like mine shafts and stuff, this is super useful. Next we have Volt Strike, which is what was on our Twilight Gale here. But let's try out level 10 Volt Strike, which is double the Twilight Gale one. This has 24 damage. Basically, you leap forward in a spinning Voltiac attack, striking the first creature or surface you hit and dealing a residual blast in a small area around the impact. This has 24 damage, costs 75 mana to cast, has a 6.5 second cooldown. So let's start with this one. Bang. So I hit that. I don't know why I only hit it for 11, but it did also hit the neighboring guy. Let's just try on a hostile zombie here. I mean, I was able to kill the zombie and do some damage. You just have to make sure you don't miss. It's a little bit... You can hit the wall, I guess, right next to something. Like if I had a block here. That way it does a bit of a splash damage. Boom. Oh, I missed. I went right between them. Bang. Dude, the shockwave is just too good. Oh, hey, that time I got 2 of them. Nice. Next we have Chain Lightning. Start a chain of lightning from a targeted creature, causing waves of zapping magic to cascade to nearby creatures. This costs 81 mana to cast, does 27 damage, can hit 12 max targets, and has a 14.5 block range with a 13-second cooldown. All right, let's hit the Chain Lightning here. Oh, so like if I hit one dummy here, oh, it has a decently long cooldown. We'll spawn some bad guys in. And then now that it's charged, let's hit one. Oh my god, it bounced around to all of them and killed them all. That is crazy. Between that and the shockwave, you could just deal with herds of enemies with ease. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Next, we have Lightning Lance. Hold to charge a spear made out of lightning. Release to throw it like a javelin, dealing high damage to the creature it hits. At level 9, this does 58 damage, and it takes 2 seconds to cast. It costs 130 mana and has a 5.2 second cooldown. Lightning Lance. Let's aim at this guy first. Okay, that's like the arrow, but way stronger, like the arrow spells. If we hit the guy in the middle... Oh, it only really hurts the guy in the middle. Okay, that's chill. I do want to see maybe if I hit the ground near them. No, okay, it doesn't even really do splash damage. So this is kind of just for a high impact single damage. Probably against a boss or something, you'd probably use this. Electrocuted. Next is Ascension. Cast to strike lightning at your feet and ascend quickly into the air and gain reduced gravity for a short duration. The lightning bolt deals damage and knocks back creatures struck. Whoa, this sounds cool. This does, at level 8, does 23.2 damage, costs 57 mana, and has a 9.75 second cooldown. So let's try it with some mobs nearby. Oh, that's really cool. So it knocked back the mobs, and I kind of got to reposition. Huh. So let's see. I'm like, oh, I'm surrounded. They're backing me into a corner. That's... Nope. I'm flying into the air. Can switch to another spell on the way down. That is really sick. I'm kind of curious what that looks like in third person, though. Huh. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then Shockwave. Okay, wait. That would actually be kind of a goated combo. And I'm going to hit the... And on my way down... Boom! Now that is a combo, because then they can't interrupt my shockwave. Jump in the air and shockwave in the air. I'm loving these lightning spells. Next we have Charge. Imbue yourself with the power of lightning, increasing your speed and combat abilities. At level 3, this has a 1.4 minute effect length. It gives you plus 60% speed, plus 30% attack damage, and plus 15% spell power. That's pretty cool. So if we cast this... Oh yeah, we're already faster. Oh, I don't know what I just cast by accident there. So we charge ourselves up. We'll jump. Oh, the jump insta-kills now. And then Shockwave for 29. Oh my god, the amount of combos you can do. And so yeah, it lasts for a minute and a half, so we still have increased speed. We're just going crazy. Doing tons of damage. Oh, 31 for the Chain Lightning. So yeah, oh my god, anytime you get into engagement, you just want to throw up the charged effect first. And just start doing greatly increased amount of damage. Yeah, that also makes the ball lightning insta-kill most regular mobs too. And you can cast it even faster. Oh yeah. Next is Thunderstorm. Cast to conjure a thunderstorm centered around yourself, which strikes nearby creatures within sight with a small bolt of lightning every 2 seconds for the spell's duration. At level 7, this does 30.25 damage, has a 20 block radius, and lasts for 43 seconds, costs 130 mana to cast, and it takes 2 seconds to cast, and has a minute and a half cooldown. This one sounds pretty freaking cool, actually. We need 2 seconds to cast, so let me get myself some space. Oh my goodness. This just is targeting nearby mobs with lightning over and over, but doing 30 damage? Oh my god. These guys can hardly spawn. I'm just keep spawning them in, they just keep getting lightning struck. I mean, combining these with these other spells, like Charge, will Charge make it do more now? Yeah! Now it does 33.7. That is ridiculous. We are reaching ultimate form here. Combine that with Shockwave, our damage output is just ridiculous. Lastly, we have Lightning Bolt. Down from the heavens, summon a bolt of lightning. At level 7, this does 49 damage, costs 165 mana to cast, and has a 16.25 second cooldown. You guys know the Lightning Bolt. It does have a bit of a cooldown here. I'm just going to run in circles while I have my charged effect. And shebang. Classic lightning. All right, well, that was it for the lightning spells. All right, it's time for blood magic. Blood magic is all centered around the blood that you get from an Alchemist Cauldron. Now, if you remember, if you have a campfire under an Alchemist Cauldron and jump into it, it will fill with blood. And one main ingredient with blood magic related things is taking hog skin, putting it into the Alchemist Cauldron filled with blood, and it turns into bloody vellum. Bloody vellum is used for many things, such as making the Vampiric Spellbook, which is made with a ruined book, 4 bloody vellums, and 2 arcane ingots. This gets you 10 spell slots, plus 10% blood spell power, also plus 10% spell resistance, as well as gives 1 extra level to blood slash and blood step spells. So whatever level they are, this will make them 1 level higher. Perfect spellbook if you're going to be casting some blood spells. Now, the blood rune is made from the blood vial that you get from the cauldron, of course. And there's also some jewelry that works with blood magic, like the Conjurer's Talisman. This actually works with any spells that you can conjure up summons. So like the Polar Bear summon, the swords, any of those will actually get boosted if you have the Conjurer's Talisman. This one gives you plus 15% summon damage. But now that we actually have the Bloody Vellum, we can make a greater Conjurer's Talisman by taking that one we made, surrounding it with Bloody Vellum, and an Arcane Rune. That is just a rune surrounded by Arcane Essence. You get the Greater Conjurer's Talisman, which still does plus 15% summon damage, but summon spells that time out do not go on cooldown. So basically, this allows you to resummon your summons if they die. So this talisman will be useful when we get into some of the summons that we have with blood magic. Speaking of which, there is a blood magic armor called Cultist Armor. It's made all the same using blood magic runes and wizard robes with arcane essence. You can get the Cultist Hood, the Cultist Armor, the Cultist Leggings, and the Cultist Boots. And we look pretty evil. So there's actually a rare drop from the Dead King that you can find in the Catacombs called the Blood Staff. We didn't happen to get it when we fought the Dead King, but this thing is pretty nice. It gives you plus 15% blood spell power, plus 10% summon damage, and 5% spell power, as well as it just does 8 attack damage on its own. On its own, we could... Oh, wow. Real big increased crits. 12.5 increased crits here. Let's go. Enough dilly-dallying. It's time for our blood spells. Starting with the Ray of Siphoning. Hold to cast a ray of necrotic energy that siphons health from creatures it hits, damaging them and healing you for 100% of the damage done. Now, the Ray of Siphoning here does 5.85 damage, has a 12 block range, and can be cast for 5 seconds. It uses 35 mana a second and goes on to a 15-second cooldown. I mean, this will do damage even if you haven't taken damage, but I want to show its siphoning abilities. Okay, that's good. And then, as you can see, I'm already full health. So it's kind of a good way where you're getting jumped. You can just blast out the siphoning spell here and heal yourself back up without needing food in your system, which is quite convenient in a pinch. Next, we have Blood Needles. Create a ring of needles made from blood and fire them forward, skewering targets and healing you for 25% of the damage done. Level 9 does 7.2 damage and has 5 projectiles, and it costs 65 mana to cast and has a 10-second cooldown. So this also siphons health away from enemies. Just taking damage, taking damage, taking damage. All right. And then we cast the needles. Okay, I see. I thought they might come from the sky, but they come out of me. Oh, blood needles on cooldown. There we go. And that healed me a decent bit. Kind of just shoots a barrage. But good for the case of when you just have a giant herd of zombies after you. Boom, and I'm back up to full health. Honestly, this blood mace isn't a bad weapon. Give me that. Next, we have Blood Step. Instantaneously teleport to where you're looking or directly behind any targeted creature. Gain a short duration of true invisibility upon reaching your destination. Okay, and this is the one that is boosted by the Blood Mace, I think. This has 54 block range, costs 80 mana to cast, and has a 12-second cooldown. Now, obviously, the lower tiers are not going to let you go 54 blocks, but still pretty cool. So it says also it'll like let you TP behind a mob and go invisible. So let's try behind a mob first. Oh, and I'm truly invisible. And I killed him. Huh. All right, once it recharges, I want to see how far I can teleport with this thing. It says 54, so let's just go on this tree. Boom. This is like truly the escape route. This is a panic button use. It's a good way to sneak up on bosses or anything. This is nice. Because you can get up right behind a mob and then cast a very deadly spell right behind them, you know? And fully invisible. Huh. But after Bloodstep, we have Devour. Pull in a nearby creature and attack them with a bite, leeching 15% of damage done as health. If the creature is killed by you, you temporarily gain additional max HP, created by the ancient magician known as Yorkovich. At level 9, this is 28.87 damage, 14 max HP on kill, costs 57 mana, and has a 20-second cooldown. So I guess we could potentially increase our max HP here if we can kill a mob with this spell. Oh, look at that. My max health increased by a lot. Okay, that's cool, because I don't think there's any other way to do that. It only lasts 50 seconds, but then if I can kill this guy, I wonder if I can, like, double it up, or it would just simply extend how long my max health goes on for. Oh, no, it increased again to Vigor 10, and now I have 2 bars of hearts for the next 52 seconds. Boom. All right. Looks like Vigor 10 is max. But still, that's super useful in the caves. Just give yourself another set of hearts, basically. Next, we have Raise Dead. Cast to summon undead minions from Earth beneath you. The higher the power, the better equipment they will have. This one costs 100 mana to cast, has a 2.5-minute cooldown, takes a 1.5 seconds to cast, and it gives you 8 summons at level 6. Of course, we got to generate some bad guys to run from. Oh, God. The frickin' baby zombie, dude. There we go. I'm raising my zombies. Oh, look at these guys have full iron armor. Oh, I have skeletons too. And they're coming to fight for me. That's pretty sick, especially the one with the bow. And then if I use my teleport, I'm invisible. Oh, somehow I'm visible again. But still, I can just teleport away and I have this horde of undead will fight for me. Let's see how much damage they'll do to this dummy in a second here. Look at this. And of course, when you want to get rid of them, you can also just cast it again. And they disappear from the world. Next, we have Wither Skull. Launch a Wither Skull forward that explodes in a small radius around the impact. The higher the level, the faster the projectile. So at level 9, this does 20.6 damage, costs 36 mana to cast, and has a 1-second cooldown. This one is basically the same attack the Wither has. Boom, 20 damage. Also does a little bit of splash damage. So if we have a couple of these guys, aim for the middle of the crowd. I was hoping that would kill all of them, but I guess... Interesting. Interesting it does 20 damage to that guy. Still, pretty strong, pretty good. I mean, the fact that it recharges instantly is just like a free high-powered attack you have at range. It also goes super far and doesn't fall, so you can snipe from quite some distance. Next, we have Acupuncture. Around a targeted creature, create a field of blood needles in every direction, shooting down and healing you for 25% of the damage done. This does 3 damage with 24 projectiles. It costs 60 mana and has a 20-second cooldown. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Okay. And those heal me? Here, let's take some damage. Want to make sure I can hit as many as possible. Boom. All right, that healed me quite a good bit, considering it only does 25%. Hit him with the blood needles. Get the rest of the healing up. Beautiful. Next we have Blood Slash. Slash forward to send out a concentrated blade of blood, slicing through creatures and healing for 15% of the damage done. This has a 45 mana cost, does 25 damage, and has a 10-second cooldown. This is probably one you'd probably just want to imbue into a sword or something that you could kind of just use in the middle of battle. All right. Boom. Look at that. We hit all those mobs for 28. It does have a bit of a longer cooldown than I'd want, but what do you gotta do? Okay, I hit all of those zombies. I was hoping it would do more. I feel like these guys might be resistant maybe to the blood magic a bit. So I don't know why 28 damage should kill them. Oh, well, that killed all of them. Let me see. Yeah, because this instantly kills all the villagers. So let's do the blood slash against villagers. Oh my god, it just cuts them down. Next we have Heartstop. Cast to inflict yourself with Heartstop, an effect that makes you temporarily invulnerable. However, once it wears off, you take 50% of all damage accumulated while under its effect. Oh, very fascinating. It seems very strategic. So you can be invulnerable, but any damage you take during that invulnerable period will be applied to you, but only at 50%. So you can maybe take that time to heal up or something, or have a regen potion. Actually, I wonder if we can just even try it with fall damage. Let me cast it real quick. So I'm invulnerable. I'm going to jump all the way down here, which is a decent amount of damage. Jump down here, take even more. Maybe I'll take even slightly more. Okay. Now, after the next 15 seconds, hopefully we don't die. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we only took 2 hearts there. Maybe it seemed like that was even more than 50%. Anyways, that is a really cool thing, because you can use that time to maybe eat a golden apple to get some absorption health or whatnot, or even just in a boss fight, because either way you're just taking 50% damage in that time. So if you're in a pinch, might as well use it. Lastly here is Sacrifice. Target one of your magic summons to cause them to explode, killing themselves instantly and dealing large damage in the area around them. The summon's remaining health boosts the damage dealt in the radius of explosion. So this lets you sacrifice one of your summons. So if we went into survival here and we did the raise dead summons, then we switched to our sacrifice here. This guy, boom! Oh my god, he exploded for 40 damage. And it's like no cooldown. Oh my god. You can just kind of use your zombie summons as bombs, basically. I mean, this does have a 2-minute cooldown, but you could summon your guys, use them for a bit, and then explode them. I do want to see, though, if here, let's remove a random spell and put in the summon Polar Bear. Like, will the Polar Bear do the most damage because it has a ton of health? Or I wonder if it's proportionate. Attack this. So then I can sacrifice you. Okay, yep, the more health it has, the more damage, because that just did 76 damage to every one of these guys. And the Polar Bear is most definitely the highest health, besides maybe the horse. So you can sacrifice them. I think that's actually a really silly and fun spell. And that is the last of the blood magic spells. These ones are super interesting. Next, we have nature spells. Nature spells' main ingredient is poisonous potatoes, so you can use that to make the nature rune. Also, there is a rare item you can find called the Rotten Spellbook that has 8 spell slots. It's kind of a bad spell book because it gives you minus 15% spell resistance. But if you do find it, which, like I said, it's found in mine shafts and dungeons, you can combine it with 2 arcane cloths, an amethyst cluster, a spore blossom, a honey bottle, and a glow ink sac to make the druidic tome, which gives you 10% nature spell power and 200 max mana, and perfect for the nature spells. The nature armor is called Plagued Armor, so you just make that with the nature rune in wizard robes and arcane essence, and you get the Plagued Mask, the Plagued Coat, the Plagued Leggings, and the Plagued Boots. And of course, you got this cool, like, Plague Doctor look. Now, I'm probably just gonna use the Greybeard Staff. I mean, the wooden staff kind of fits the look. But that's about it for nature spell items. It's only kind of the only way to boost your nature items. So let's just get right into it. You use poisonous potatoes to craft your spells here. And the first spell we have is called Acid Spit. Spit an orb of acid, splashing in a radius upon impact and rending creatures hit, melting away and reducing their armor. So this is good against enemies who are armored. And I'm gonna spawn in some bad guys here. And we hit them. Oh god, they spawned in more husks. So I used the Acid Spit. Did not do as much damage as I expected. Okay, it's still on cooldown. It uses 110 mana. Okay, I guess it reduces their armor. I forgot that's like the effect here. So probably doesn't affect these guys very much. So actually here, let's try it on a dummy. So I put a full set of armor on this dummy. My hits are doing 6.1, whereas without the effect, I do 2.2 damage. So the rend severely lowers the effectiveness of their armor. So this is useful against, well, armored enemies and bosses, and of course, any enemies in PvP if you're playing on a server. So now they're both hit, I'm doing 6.1 damage with each hit. Next, we have Poison Arrow. Charge a powerful arrow imbued with poisonous magic that will release a poisonous cloud upon impact. Level 10 does 25.2 damage, does 4.6 AoE damage, takes 1 second to cast, costs 85 mana, and has a 15-second cooldown. So let's hit the Poisonous Arrow here. Oh, wrong spell. Boom. Oh, and it leaves like an acid pile. Boom. All right, what if they spawn in the acid pile? Of course, that would clear up right away. Oh. Oh, well, the acid pile does kill them pretty quick. They walked right through that. You can see a lot of them just died running through the acid, and you can run through your own acid, of course. Does a decent amount of damage on impact, but also just leaves that huge pile. Poison, which could be good for especially taking out like a stationary group of mobs. Next, we have Poison Spray. Spew forth a cone of poison, damaging and poisoning creatures in its reach. It does 15.6 damage, casts for 5 seconds, costs 28 mana per second, and has a 12-second cooldown. Poison Spray. Oh, they're long gone. I couldn't even see through all the poison. Okay, let me try that again, but maybe I'll spawn a few more. And maybe in third person so we can see. Oh yeah, they die so quick. Iron Golem time. And then even if I stop, which I totally could have killed him, the poison will tick away. Boom, you're dead. Next we have Oak Skin. The great power of the oak infuses into your skin, granting damage reduction of any incoming damage for duration. This is just like the Oak Skin Elixir, but of course the spells can go a little bit further. So if you have level 8 Oak Skin, that gives you plus 50% damage reduction at the cost of minus 20% speed, and it lasts for 1.3 minutes. Costs 50 mana and has a 1.5 minute cooldown. So this essentially, well, limits how much incoming damage you can take. Here, I'm gonna punch an Iron Golem. You can smack me once, and that did 4.5 hearts. I cast the Oak Skin. Now he's doing only about 2 hearts of smack. Not even 1 heart of smack. 1 heart. Gives me... Oh, God. He spawned in backup. Of course, it does give you a speed reduction, which is kind of noticeable. But... minus 50% incoming damage is worth keeping, I'd say. Next is Gluttony. Turn your stomach into an arcane furnace, turning eaten food into mana for a duration. So at level 5, that gives you 4 mana recovery, lasts for 54 seconds, costs 35 mana, and has a 1.5-minute cooldown. So let's say we cast some expensive spells. What are the most expensive ones we have here? This one costs 110. This costs a good bit, and now we can... Oh, we have to cast Gluttony, duh. Actually, let me take off my armor here, because I'm regenning too quick. So now, food heals about 25 each. I mean, I was using golden carrots, but I think I could have eaten anything there, because I don't think it depended on your saturation, but that's pretty cool. Basically, a cool way to add some mana. Like, I'm down a good bit here, so I'm going to just chug. Here, I'm going to chug these. Let's see what these do. These work and do just as much. So if I'm really in a pinch for mana, I could just chug down whatever crappy food I have on me. That's a creative little spell. But next we have Poison Splash. Around a targeted creature or block, conjure a wave of poisonous magic that splashes down, damaging creatures hit and leaving behind a poisonous cloud. At level 9, this is 28.8 damage, the 23-second effect time, and it casts for 0.75 seconds, costs 120 mana with a 20-second cooldown. So let's see what this means. Oh, that is a wave of poison, I can see. Is it enough to kill the mobs just walking through it? Almost, but not entirely. All right, let's let this recharge. This does have decently long 20-second cooldown. That's so crazy how quickly that just poisons. Huh, well, that is a high damage spell right there. Let's spawn an Iron Golem. In the poison, I guess. Oh, he's gonna spawn in husks. Okay, not enough to deal with an Iron Golem, but... Goodbye. was able to kill these zombies that just happen to walk right through it. And also, like I said, you can just run through your own magic. So even just casting this point blank to protect yourself is kind of a strat. Next, we have Root. Around a targeted creature, sprout magical roots that tangle them and prevent non-magical movement. So the level 9 has a 25.2 second effect length, takes 2 seconds to cast, costs 69 mana, and has a 35 second cooldown. So this one I've used a good bit because it lets you just cast a root that will hold whatever you cast it on in place for 25 seconds. Against a big herd, that might not be exactly the move, but against some more challenging enemies, being able to just hold a mob in place is pretty good. Pretty convenient, I should say. The 35 second cooldown is a bit long. So let's say there's an Iron Golem here, right? And I wanted to fight him. I quickly shoot him with an arrow. He gets mad. He's running at me. I'm like, oh god, I don't want to fight him. Boom. Now he's poisoned and rooted up in place for the next 25 seconds. And I guess I'll poison spray him while he stands still. Don't get too close because he can still hit you. But against big foes like that, having roots is a very effective spell, if I do say so myself. Next we have Firefly Swarm. Emanate a swarm of violent fireflies following a targeted creature and dealing AoE damage. If the initial target dies, the last harmed creature will be targeted. At level 9, this has 9 AoE damage, has a 2 block radius, and a 1.5 second cast time. It costs 120 mana and has a 20 second cooldown. This one is pretty cool, especially against a swarm of enemies. So let me cast our fireflies here. And they literally will chase down and kill whoever you hit. But very useful. It's almost like having a summon. I guess it's not considered a summon. It's just a spell. But these guys will really help deal with your foes. I really like the Firefly spell. I think it's pretty creative. But simple and to the point. Next we have Earthquake. Conjure an earthquake around a targeted creature or location, causing tremors to ripple through the ground, damaging and slowing creatures in the area. Level 9 does 7.79 AoE damage and applies slowness 3, has an 11.7 block radius, takes 2 seconds to cast, costs 130 mana, and has a 16 second cooldown. So let's do it. Earthquake. Okay. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. There you go. Earthquake. And they all are dead. And it keeps going. That's crazy. I got him to spawn after the earthquake was over, but I can summon another one. I think I can also just look at the ground near me and target the ground. Yeah. That's pretty useful. It also covers such a large area at the highest level. Next, we have Stomp. With a magic force, stomp the ground in front of you and send a short tremor forward through the ground, damaging creatures in its path. At level 5, this is 28.8 damage, has a 13 block range, a half a second cast time, costs 90 mana, and has a 16 second cooldown. All right, Stomp. Oh, I don't know why that only got the mob in the middle there. That was fascinating. I'm gonna tie one up with some vines here. And stomp. Okay, that one got all 3. Interesting, last time it only got 1, but that's pretty cool. It's just literally like an earthbender stomp shockwave. I love that. Blight. Target a creature to blight them, reducing their incoming healing and outgoing damage. At the highest level, this is 70% reduced healing, 35% reduced damage, 54 second effect length, and a 2.5 second cast time. It costs 180 mana and has a 1.5-minute cooldown. So, this is very interesting. Any foe you cast this on will do 35% less damage if you hit them with it. Oh, we got to upgrade our spellbook here. So I guess like a good example of this is like a witch can heal, right? Trying to think of other mobs that are capable of healing themselves. I guess there's other mods where they do that. But let me summon a witch. Summoning a witch here. All right. Now it can do less damage. And any attempts to heal itself will be hindered. Yeah, it could barely heal itself. And it's doing less damage. Oh, you're trying to heal. You can't. I imagine this is more useful against a boss. I'm gonna cast this onto an Iron Golem. So now this Iron Golem has the effect. He should do 35% less damage to me. Yeah, he's only doing 1.5 hearts. Combine that with Oak Skin. Yeah, buddy, you're not doing crap to me. If anything, you're just boosting me to... Oh, God. Next, we have Aspect of the Spider. Instill yourself with poisonous magic, dealing additional melee, ranged, or spell damage creatures that are poisoned. Okay, this does 35% additional poison damage. Lasts for a minute and a half. 65 mana cost and a minute and a half cooldown. Not entirely sure what this description means, but we're going to figure it out. Does it mean I can poison fools now? Or I just do more poison damage? Am I doing more poison damage now? So that did 16, it's doing 1. And then when I effect clear, it immediately does yes. Okay, so Aspect of the Spider is kind of like when you have the charged effect with the lightning. It just allows you to do more poison-related damage. It boosts all poison attacks. That's pretty cool and pretty useful. Lastly, we have Touch Dig. Use magic to break a block. Held items affect drops. So level 3 gives you Netherite Harvest level, 8 block range, costs 15 mana, and has a half a second cooldown. So I believe just I have to be at least 8 blocks away, and yeah, I can just cast it at any block and mine it. Let's see. Yeah, wow. So anything you need to break at the legendary tier, at least 8 blocks away, you can break. All right, let me see. I'm holding a Fortune 3 pickaxe. Oh, yeah. So you could just use the spell with Fortune, not have to worry about durability at all, and Fortune fully works. It's also just useful if you're mining and you're like, oh, there's an ore up there. Boom, I can mine it. Also, of course, I wanted to test if Silk Touch works, which it does, which is pretty fun. I do want to see, can I insta-break, like, oh my gosh. This works on Obsidian. Look how quickly. I mean, okay, I'm in creative. I know there's a half a second cooldown, but still, this is survival mode. Just mining all of that Obsidian, no problem at all. I could be building something with Obsidian and be like, oh, and then be like, you know what? I don't like this. That is honestly crazy. But that's it from nature magic. All right, next we have holy magic. Holy magic's main ingredient is divine pearls, which if you haven't noticed have been in a lot of different structure loot, but can also be made with a gold ingot and an amethyst shard. And then of course you use those to make the holy rune. Now holy magic also has its armor set using the holy rune, arcane essence, and the wizard robes to give you plus 10% spell power. And I really like the priest robes here. You even have a halo over your head. Now, the main spell book you'd use for holy spells is the Villager Bible. I showed you guys how to do that earlier with the Evoker Tower. It's a bit of a process, but when you do get it, it gives you plus 10% holy spell power, plus 10% time reduction, and of course 200 mana. This one only has 10 spell slots though. Now the first spell is Blessing of Life. Cast to target any creature showing a glowing outline. Completing the cast will heal this creature. So this one can provide 27 healing, takes a second and a half to cast, costs 55 mana, and has a 10-second cooldown. Guess I'm just going to use the Greybeard staff again. Granted, you don't need to use a staff. With these spells, you could just target. Let's just say I had an Iron Golem who was fighting alongside me, and he was down to 25 HP. I can just target him, heal him up to 55. How long is the cooldown of this thing again? It's a decent bit. Yeah, 10-second cooldown, but then the Iron Golem is healed. Could also do this with your summons or any other mob. Just a helpful way to heal the world, opposed to doing damage with all these other ones. Next spell is Fortify. Upon casting, fortify every friendly creature within a radius around you, giving them temporary HP. So level 10 allows you to do 29 temporary HP in an 8-block radius with a 2.7-second cast time. This costs 170 mana and has a 60-second cooldown. So here, if you're feeling really crazy and you had a herd Iron Golems to defend you, hit them with this, and now they have boosted health, and they went up against some ancient knights who are also going after me, but I also have additional health. Yeah, they stood no chance against the fortified Iron Golems. So this could help you against a boss fight, you know, dealing with the Wither or like the Warden or something. Just get an army of golems. Oh, look at that guy hit me, but it didn't matter because he hit my absorption hearts. Yes, sir. Next is Guiding Bolt. Fire a slow bolt of holy energy. Creatures hit will gain the gilded effect, homing nearby projectiles in towards them. The guided effect, not gilded. Oh, okay. Okay. So this costs 65 mana, has a 8-second cooldown, does 13.5 damage, has a 25-second effect length. So that's interesting. I need another projectile then. So let's just say I cast this at a foe. Granted, this does 14 damage on its own. But now I believe, like, yeah, when it has the guided effect, it will guide other projectiles near it. So let's just say I'm using the firebolt and I kind of miss. It will draw in the firebolt or other projectiles. Oh, God. So now I got this iron golem after me. I can panic and I can miss all I want. And the projectiles are just always going to go at him. So I can kind of just flick back and not worry too much about aiming and take care of him. Next, we have Healing Circle. Around a targeted creature or block, place a stationary circle of holy magic that heals allies within them. Level 10 does 5.36 AoE healing with 5 block range, has a 10-second duration, and takes 0.9 seconds to cast. Also costs 130 mana and has a 25-second cooldown. Let's just say I raised the dead a little bit here. And then I had the Healing Circle, which now, thinking about it, I don't know. Oh, these, okay, so they are healing in here. Oh, God. Additional life. So I could give them additional life and cast a Healing Circle. You can fortify and heal your allies, especially if you have a good summoning spell to pair with it. But next we have Wisp. Conjure a projectile of holy energy that will float towards nearby targets and deal damage upon impact. Level 10 does 27.2 damage, has a 0.9 cast time, costs 33 mana, and has a 3-second cooldown. So let me cast this. Oh, it's like literally like a flying... I don't really know what it's doing. I mean, oh, that one immediately. Interesting. Let me launch it at the Iron Golem here. Okay. Does a decent amount of damage, I suppose. So he's 12 HP. That'll kill him. Nice. Yeah, so it does 27.3 damage. That's fun. It's just kind of like a slow little guy. He just flies in and explodes. Next is Divine Smite. With a fervor of holy energy, swing forth your weapon, doing a melee area attack. This spell is uninterruptible. The damage scales off the held weapon's melee damage and enchantments. This does 42 plus 3 damage. It's level 5, costs 90 mana to cast, and has a 15-second cooldown. So I think that's like... yeah, that did 44 damage. And we had sharpness 5. I think that'll do more damage to my nearby foes. Yeah, 47 damage. Good gravy. And also this attack can't be interrupted, which is very nice because you have to do it very close. And that just easily one-hit all those guys. That was nuts. Okay, what's next? Next we have Heal. Cast to infuse yourself with holy energy and immediately regain health. Level 7 does 19.8 healing. It costs 120 mana and has a 30-second cooldown. Now, this is one you'd probably just want a hotkey because it casts pretty much immediately. So I did a bunch of damage to myself here. And then if I cast the heal spell, this at the highest level pretty much does 100% healing. Casts instantly pretty much and only has a 30-second cooldown. So pretty useful in a fight. Probably another one that you could imbue into your armor, perchance. But either way, very simple and straightforward. Next is Sunbeam. Funnel the power of the heavens into a beam of holy energy from above, smiting targets in the area. Now level 9 of the Sunbeam does 43.2 damage, costs 120 mana to cast, and has a 20-second cooldown. Now this one is fun. So you could just aim in the middle here, boom. Does a huge radius of 40-something plus damage. All right, now that our Sunbeam is recharged, bang, hit every single one except, of course, the one baby zombie annoying me. Goodbye. Next is Greater Heal, a more powerful but much slower version of Heal. This spell will completely heal yourself upon being casted. So this one only has 1 level, which is rare. This gives you max healing, takes 5.4 seconds to cast. It costs 100 mana, has a 45-second cooldown. Now, to be honest, if you were rocking max holy gear, which you might not necessarily be running, but if you do, the heal spell does 19.8 healing, which is 0.2 less than full. So might still be better because that has insta casting. Meanwhile, the greater healing does take 5 seconds, but if you're using another mod that maybe gives you significantly higher health or the possibility to have more, that would be the use of greater healing. Otherwise, I don't think there's a purpose. Next is Haste. In a radius around a targeted creature or yourself, if no creature is targeted, apply the Hastened effect. increasing movement speed, attack speed, mining speed, mana regeneration, and cast time reduction for a duration. Now, at level 3, this lasts for 1.2 minutes, gives you a 30% hastened increase. There's 5 max targets, 1.3 second cast time, costs 70 mana, and has a 1.32 minute cooldown. So I'm going to target myself, because I do like that. That means I'm going to get increased cooldowns. So for stuff like this spell, let's go. And then, of course, I just have haste in general. For mining, this one lasts, a minute and a half. So we can just kind of do what we want. We can attack faster. Didn't stand a chance. So haste is probably something you would probably mix a use of haste, fortify. Granted, you could also apply this to your team. So if you have a bunch of summons or a bunch of teammates, you could be the healer. If you're on a multiplayer server, you could fortify your teammates, give them all haste. Next, we have Cleanse. Pray to a divine magic to cleanse yourself and nearby allies of harmful status effects. This only has 1 level, which is epic. So like you said, anything that isn't legendary doesn't need legendary ink, but this has a 3 block radius, a 2.7 second cast time, costs 100 mana, and has a 60 second cooldown. Like if I get given hunger effects by these guys, I can pray it away. And I'm cleansed. That's pretty useful, especially if you're in a mine shaft getting attacked by poisonous spiders or dealing with whatever wacky creatures throw crazy effects your way. Also would be good in ocean monuments, getting rid of mining fatigue. Lastly here, the legendary spell is Angel Wings. 18-second effect length, costs 80 mana, and lasts for 2 minutes. It has a 2-minute cooldown. Now, I can't lie, this one is pretty crazy. This spell is literally, if I cast it, it is Elytra Wings made out of magic. They do only last 14 seconds, but the fact that you can cast them whenever you want is pretty nice. And also, yes, fully compatible with fireworks. Now, granted, as they start disappearing, you're going to want to be careful because you will just plummet out of the sky, and then you have 2 more minutes to cast it. But still, very useful if you just need to go somewhere quickly or just want it to part from your base. Man, pair that with teleport. As soon as your wings disappear, you could just teleport down to surface. The options are limitless. I think it's so crazy that it works with fireworks too, though. Soarin', flying. So before we fight the final boss, I need to show you guys the final class of magic. It's a bit of a mystery and hidden, but once you get enough of these ancient knowledge fragments, you surround an echo shard with them, you get the Eldritch Manuscript. Now this is your secret way of learning all of the Eldritch magical spells. And these kind of lay it out for you, the ones that exist. Now you are going to need more. You're going to need actually enough to do every one of these. So you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more of these. So in order to learn all of the Eldritch magic, you're going to need at least 7 ancient knowledge fragments on top of the 8 you needed to create the manuscript. And like I said, you can find them in the library. You can even find them in stronghold libraries like this one has ancient knowledge fragments. You can find them in other libraries as well as the Citadel libraries. But let's open up the manuscript here and start with, I guess, the first one, which would be Sonic Boom. Boom. And we learned it. But what does that even mean? I figured I should come to surface for this, but once you learn, you use echo shards to actually make the Eldritch spells. So, like I unlocked Sonic Boom, that's the only one I actually have unlocked here. So I can go ahead and craft that with legendary ink. These only have 1 level legendary. So Sonic Boom does 20 damage, has a 20 block range, takes a second and a half to cast, costs 110 mana, and has a 25-second cooldown. And it is pretty much just the Warden Sonic Boom. And of course, it goes through multiple different enemies. But you can see there, you can blast through multiple enemies, which is quite nice. So next on the manuscript, we have Planar Sight, which is shift your vision in between planes, gaining the ability to see creatures through solid material. So now that we learn it, we go down into the spellbook here and we get the Planar Sight. This lasts for 52 seconds, costs 150 mana, and has a 2.66 minute cooldown. So if I cast this spell, the sky's going to look different, but you can also see for the next 52 seconds, every single mob in my vicinity is highlighted. So if I'm hunting for a certain mob, farming a certain thing, just really useful. It gives me the all-seer's eye. I can see bosses through walls. I can see this pillager coming after me who's about to get sonic boomed. But pretty cool. I didn't realize it made the sky a different color. But it also allows you to see any mobs that are beneath you. There's none right now, but all of them that are loaded in, like there's a skeletons underground over there I can see from here. Cool, especially if I'm looking for other mobs or people. Next is telekinesis. So we're going to learn that one. I misspoke earlier. The Eldritch manuscript self-destructs after you use it. You don't need 7 ancient knowledge fragments. I'll probably cut that part out. But yes, the way this manuscript works is you unlock 1 spell at a time. So I just got telekinesis. It consumed my entire manuscript. So then you just have to make another manuscript to unlock the next one. So let's do telekinesis. This has a 12 block range, 7-second cast duration, costs 50 mana a second, and has a 28-second cooldown. This is where you reach out with a spectral force to grip a creature, forcing them towards your gaze. Creatures are susceptible to kinetic damage. I'm assuming that means fall damage. So, telekinesis. Can I grab? I guess it makes sense I can't grab the dummy that is stationary. Aha! I can look up. Huh, that's pretty crazy. So now I'm just curious if I put a big wall here and I summoned. Huh. So it did let me slam them into the ground. That's kind of a gimmicky one. I can't say it's something I find super important. I guess it could be useful if you're moving mobs around, or can I pick up an iron golem, though, is the question. Oh, I can. And how far can I reach with this? Not super far. But I was able to lift up that iron golem and put him up there. That's a fun one. But next we have Skulk Tentacles. From where you look, erupt a massive skulk energy in the form of wailing tentacles, damaging and binding creatures caught in the chaos. Boom. But now that we have that, we can make Skulk Tentacles. This is 9.6 damage, 2.5 block radius, 1 second cast time, costs 150 mana, and has a 24-second cooldown. Oh, tentacles help me. There we go. So yes, these are giant skulky tentacles that come out of the ground. Let me see how much it does to like these guys. Doing 10 damage every second, but also looks really crazy. Anyways, that's the Skulk Tentacle. I guess might as well spawn some foes. That took out the whole herd of zombies there, and it's probably going to take out this Iron Golem too, yep. Huh. Definitely the coolest looking effect of any of the spells. Abyssal Shroud. Cloak yourself in the shadows of the abyss, granting the ability to evade any attack for a short duration of time. This has a 7.8 second effect length, has a 300 mana cost, and a 2.6 minute cooldown. All right, this sounds pretty strong if it's going to have such a long cooldown and cost. Summon a couple bad guys. Go into survival. Oh, so this basically gives me evade for 7 seconds. I mean, I evaded like 30 deaths right there. So far, though, I think Sonic Boom is the most useful attack. Maybe the tentacles. All right, next we have Eldritch Blast. Fire rays of pure, devastating energy. This one does 19.5 damage, does 3 blasts, has a 30 block range, costs 90 mana, and has a 12-second cooldown. All right, let's see. Oh, so I get 3 blasts before it goes into a cooldown. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, I was hoping that would insta-kill you. Oh, so I have 3 seconds to shoot 3 blasts. I see. I see now. And I missed why the hitboxes of baby zombies are so hard. Eldritch Blast is kind of weak. Anyways, I can't lie, the Eldritch Blast isn't that great. It does just too little to insta-kill the common mob. Like, I'd rather use Firebolt, and I get way more uses per minute, honestly. All right, lastly here we have Pocket Dimension, which I'm now realizing I did these kind of out of order. I thought this was a perfect circle. The last one is Pocket Dimension. Cast to transport yourself into a personal pocket dimension only you can access, giving a small free range area. Which, yes, you are hearing this correctly. It takes 2 seconds to cast, costs 300 mana, has a 48-second cooldown. But when you do cast it, wham. Yep. You cast it and you can have your own private freaking pocket dimension. So you can't even build beyond the walls here. So you're limited to a small room of space. But that also means you can just put some storage. I mean, you could hold your spells. You could put your most valuables hiding deep in here. Your most secret experiments. Maybe you're working on SMP and you're building, I don't know, a nuke. And you want to keep it safe from the rest of the world. Here's exactly where you could do that. And all you got to do is walk back through and you're back. And there is like a 40-second cooldown, but it's almost ready again. Could also be a good way to just totally escape an attack and just disappear to the safest area possible. But I thought that was a super cool little feature, especially for modded Minecraft. Sometimes you just need a little pocket dimension, just a good safe spot. But yeah, those are the Eldritch spells. But now it's on to the final boss fight. All right, it is time for the final boss battle. And I decided to upgrade my gear before going into it now that we've mastered all of the spells in the game. So I'm going to show you my setup because this is a very hard boss. To be honest, I tried filming myself defeating him earlier and it did not pan out well. So this is the spell lineup. First, I'm doing mostly Ender class. I also use the Arcane Anvil with Ender upgrades to max out my armor with Ender upgrades. So it's all plus 25% Ender spell upgrade. I'm now realizing I forgot to upgrade my chest plate. So we're doing that because all of the damage spells I'm using are going to be Ender spells. Actually, can I upgrade this? Oh, I can upgrade my cane. These are the spells I'm using. I'm using Summon Swords because they kind of do a lot of damage, and when I have maxed out Ender upgrade armor, I'm just doing a ton of Ender damage now. Also Echoing Strikes because when I have all of my Ender damage boosted, Echoing Strikes is also going to be boosted. So just doubling the damage I use with my weapon, which is also a Sharpness 5 sword right now. I'm going to be using both Fortify and Oak Skin to give myself a lot of damage reduction and then also a huge health boost, as well as I will have Abyssal Shroud if I ever need to get away to safety. I also have Heal, of course, because I'm going to need to heal. I got Charge. This is the one that gives you damage boost. This straight up just gives you 15% spell power. It gives you plus 60% speed and plus 30% attack damage. So also pairing that with Echoing Strikes, which also gets boosted by the spell power and the damage attack. So we're just damage multiplying here. Also, then we're going to have Black Hole, just because, I don't know, it could be fun. I am going to have a Splash Potion of instant mana because Black Hole does need 800 mana. So I don't know if I'm going to be casting this one. I might. But Starfall will be really good because this has damage bonus. It does a lot of damage directly where you point. Same with Dragon's Breath and Magical Arrow. And lastly, I have Portal because I'm going to set up 2 portal frames here in the arena because this is the arena where you're going to be summoning the boss. So with the portal, I'm going to set that up right before the fight. And it's kind of just a little Pac-Man effect. If I'm getting cornered, I can keep running between these 2 portals because the boss is huge. He's not going to be able to go through. So it'll be a good way to kind of play it safe. And then the potions I'm going to bring is I have a Splash Potion of Swiftness. I have a Potion of Mana, Splash Potion of Strength, a Potion of Fire Resistance because I'm going to be rocking the Ring of Recovery and the Ring of Expedicity. Oh, God. You can read it. This one reduces. This is how you craft the Ring of Reduction. And this is how you craft the Ring of I know it's supposed to be like expedicency. I don't know how I'd say that. These 2 rings because they just reduce cast time and cooldown, just so I can output most damage I'm also wearing the Amulet of Concentration, so my long casts can't be interrupted. And I'm also using the Ancient Codec, which also reduces my cast time, or my cooldown time. So it'll be good with a lot of these spells. I am going to put a respawn anchor here in case I die. So to summon the final boss here, you just have to go into the middle by the Cinderous Soul rune and use your Cinderous Soul Caller. And that will summon Echo of Tyros, first Flamebearer. Oh god, I was supposed to heal first. Okay, fortify. I don't know why I forgot about all that. Okay, oak skin and fortify. I also didn't light my portal, dude. There's one. He lit the other. Okay, nice. Oh, through the portal. Summon swords. Charge. And then we're going to use Starfall. Oh, he jumped over my Starfall. Okay. Echoing Strikes. Fire resistance. Almost forgot it. Starfall. I can't believe my swords got defeated so quickly. Oh my god. Oh, we're locked in, but he is doing a lot of damage here. Okay, fortify. Let's get another charge in there. Ow. Abyssal Shroud. Oh, he can't get me. The Abyssal Shroud is kind of clutch. Okay, gotta run, gotta run. What? I used... Okay, I don't understand. I tried to cancel his spell, but he one-hit me with that. You just gotta look out for that. I tried to use Spellbreaker on him. Unfortunately, didn't seem to have worked. Ah, shoot. Oh, okay, there we go. Through the portal. Oh, God. Potion of mana. Ah, through the portal. Ah, through the portal again. Ah, through the portal again. Oak skin. Oh, God. Charge. Alright, we're doing a lot of damage to him here. Oh! Gotta run, gotta run, gotta run. The portal is very helpful. Fortifying again. Oh, this is doing a lot of damage, a lot of damage, a lot of damage. Okay, going through the portal. Summoning my swords again. Starfall. Okay, that did a lot, kinda. Okay, locked in. Echoing strikes. Oh my god. Oak skin again through the portal. Fortify. Okay, the fortify went through. I'm alive. Oh god. Oh, he's comboing me through the portal. Boost up charge again. Oh god. I can't. I gotta cancel. I'm fortifying again. He's super low. Oak skin, charge. Back out. Come on. He's so low. I got him. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you just have to be careful of that one explosion. What I was trying to do there is counterspell. Is supposed to be able to cancel that fireball. I think I just missed in a panic, which the counterspell is a part of the Spellbreaker sword here, which I have sharpness 5 on. But now that I killed him, he drops 2 very important things. The Divine Soulshard and the Decrepit Key. Also, a ton of Arcane Essence. Anyways, you take this Decrepit Key and you go downstairs to these vaults. You just put it right in there and you get some good loot, like a netherite ingot, gold, emeralds, another netherite ingot, some epic ink, some legendary ink, another legendary ink. Also, we're getting spell. There's so much stuff I can't even see it. I'll just have to pick it up when it's done. Holy moly. All right, this is everything we got. We got the Fire Ward Ring from that. Also, oh my god, with Unbreaking 3, he almost broke everything I had. We got 2 netherite ingots. We got rare ink, epic ink, 2 legendary inks, 2 blank runes, Pyrium ingots. There's a few important crafting recipes with Pyrium. A disc fragment, ancient knowledge fragment. We got a Raise Hell scroll, a legendary, and the Burning Dash scroll, level 9. So we kind of balled out in 12 cinder essence. So let's get to these final crafting recipes here. All right, so the Divine Soulshard can make some fancy new pieces of armor. You're gonna need Mithril Weave, which I showed at the beginning of the video, but in case you need it now, the ingredient for that is just 5 mithril ingots and a bunch of chains, and you get the Mithril Weave, so pretty expensive. But you mix that with priest robes, 4 gold ingots, and the Divine Soulshard, and you can get the Lightbringer chestplate. This is +8 armor, +4 armor toughness, +40% knockback resistance, +150 max mana, and +10% spell power, which is an increase from the priest robes, and it also can be imbued, but the +40% knockback resistance is quite nice. Very strong chestplate. Also looks very cool. Doesn't really match the Shadow Walker armor, but very cool chestplate. Another thing you can make is the Boots of Speed using Mithril Weave, 2 feathers, Archevoker boots in the Divine Soulshard. With the Boots of Speed, you get +60% casting movement speed, +10% spell power, and +25% speed. So these speed up your spell time casting as well as your actual just speed in general. So you could pair that with charge here, and then some of these, like summoning these swords, I could just double the time it takes. I mean, cut it in half, I mean. But lastly, with the Divine Soulshard, you can make the Infernal Sorcerer chestplate. You need 2 Pyrium ingots, 2 Mithril Weaves, a Pyromancer robe, and of course, the Divine Soulshard. This has a passive ability, which is dealing fire spell damage adds a stack of immolation to the creature. At 3 immolation stacks, it will cause an explosion, spreading immolation. So it basically just gives you a cool ability with fire, which we'll show off here. Let's get the full Pyromancer fit with the new Sorcerer chestplate here. So we summon the Iron Golem, and then we hit him with 3 fire bolts in a row. 1, 2, 3. It causes an explosion. So this would be really cool, especially if you paired it with some other boss mods where there's some more higher health mobs, because you can do a ton of damage now using this, because of course I also didn't mention that it gives you +150 mana and +10% spell power, and you can imbue it with a spell. But that is everything you can do with the Divine Soul Shard. If to get more, you have to craft another Cinderous Soul Collar, and you can keep respawning that boss. You have to go back to the area, but you can keep calling it in the same area, respawning the boss and beating him again and again. I'm sure you'll get really good at it. You could probably honestly build like a trap for him. I wouldn't be surprised if people had a design for that. And just keep getting keys and getting more loot because you do get a lot out of it. More legendary inks. If you can master how to kill him, you could just farm him for free stuff forever. There's also actually 3 more upgrades I forgot to go over, which are made from the Protective Rune made with Pufferfish, the Recovery Rune made from Phantom Membrane, and the Arcane Rune made from Arcane Essence. These make 3 upgrade orbs that just simply buff a specific stat. These don't apply to any magic classes. So with the Arcane Rune, you can make Mana Upgrade Orb, which this gives you plus 50 max mana. And you can use this upgrade up to 3 times. So on every single one of your items, you could increase the mana. So these wizard robes here, they give 125 mana, but if I add the upgrade, 175. So a good way to increase your max mana. Hello, villager. Next, we have the cooldown upgrade orb made with the Recovery Rune, which is the Phantom Membrane. This is the same thing, except it adds cooldown reduction. So you could add this to all of your stuff to increase cooldown, because this one didn't have any cooldown reduction, but now I simply added that to these wizard robes. Oh, cool. And then lastly, we have Protection Upgrade Orb made with the Pufferfish Protective Runes. And this just adds plus 5% spell resistance, especially if you're going to be fighting more other mages and whatnot. This can be a good way to just increase your resistance to other spells. But that's it for iron spells and spell books. Let me know what you think of this mod. I do not think I thought this video would be this long, but I really do appreciate any of those people who watch. Let me know what other types of mods you'd like to see. Lastly, I have a very limited edition plushie up for sale. I don't ever really do merchandising or anything, but these are some plushies I have in a very limited stock. So if you want to support me and maybe get a little Christmas gift or whatever, I have a link down below. It's Kratzy.store. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment. I'll catch you guys in the next showcase.